VFL.com.au. This is VFL Live.
And what a glorious Sunday afternoon. It is a Sunday edition of Hard Jacket Totally Workwear VFL Live, and we are at Box Hill City Oval. A pretty important clash for both Box Hill and Richmond. Hello and welcome. My name's Adam Sarikoglu. My co-caller for today is Michael Peppicelli. Michael, welcome back to the VFL Live commentary box. We were here a couple of weeks ago, and looks like the weather is just as good today as it was that day. The quintessential perfect day for football at Box Hill.
That's right, Adam, and we had a brilliant contest that day a couple of weeks ago between the Hawks and the Cats, and expecting just as good a contest today with the Tigers coming to visit Box Hill City Oval. They played a thriller back in round 7 earlier this year. The Tigers got up by 8 points in that one, expecting a similarly close contest this afternoon.
It's a busy day of VFL action in this round 16. This is one of 5 games taking place today. Let's have a look at what is going on around the grounds. And we've actually got a shootout at Piranha Park. It's half-time between Coburg and North Melbourne. 10-5, 65. The Lions are leading North Melbourne 9-5, 59. That's a 6-point lead for Coburg in a high-scoring game. At half-time there, we have other games taking place as well, halfway into the second term. Between the Northern Blues and Williamstown, 4-1-25. The Blues, Seagulls are 2-5-17. We are halfway through the third term. Wilson Storage, Trevor Barker, Beach Oval, and Footscray is doing well against Sandringham, 6-13, 49. Sandy, 3-5-23. And at 2 o'clock, the same time as our game starts today, Frankston will host Collingwood at Skybus Stadium. Yesterday, wins for Geelong and Werribee, aren't the Tigers having a good season? They beat the Borough in Port Melbourne. Box Hill and Richmond out on the park here. Michael, a fair bit on the line for both sides today. Essendon have the bye this week. They're on top of the ladder. Richmond wins or even draws today, they will be the top team in the Hard Jacket Totally Workwear VFL after 16 rounds. Box Hill come into the game 6th on the ladder. They will move to 5th if they can get the points here against the Tigers.
Yeah, that's right, Adam. As you said, a massive contest for both sides. Plenty on the line, so expecting both sides to really crack in hard. 15 AFL listers out there for both teams, so there's plenty of talent out there on the park. As you said, the Tigers a chance to go to the top of the ladder with Essendon having the bye this weekend. We're all looking forward to their second matchup in a few weeks. And for Box Hill, if they're any chance to defend their premiership from last year, they need to keep banking those wins and hope a couple of other teams stumble so they might be able to just sneak into that top 4 towards the end of the season.
Our man, boundary side, is Glenn Hill. We'll hear from him on the other side of the break. It's a 2 p.m. start today for Box Hill and Richmond at Box Hill City Over. It's Hard Jacket, Totally Workwear, VFL Live. We'll be back with pre-game conditions in the first bounce right after this.
Nature's an amazing place. It's a perfect balancing act, thriving with life. Some of which we don't even see. Billions of microorganisms that help keep nature in balance. At Swiss, the quest continues.
At Totally Workwear, we kit out the brickies, the chippies, the foremen, the tradies. Did we say foremen? They're not all men, some are ladies. Yes! Work in an office, retail, healthcare, hospitality? Here's where you'll find all your workwear. Yeah, totally. Totally Workwear have got you covered with the best brands, best value and best service. Totally Workwear. Get what you want and get back to work.
For club interviews and all the news from the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL and Swiss Wellness VFL Women's, don't miss the VFL Hour during the Sporting Capital with Jack Heverin, Tuesdays from 9 p.m. on 1116 SEN.
It's your job. We'll be fine.
Mate, just because everybody seems like they're doing it doesn't actually mean that they are doing it.
Help your kids understand that betting and sport don't have to go together.
the ads don't always tell you the risks, yeah?
Before you have the talk, check lovethegame.vic.gov.au. Authorised by VRGF Melbourne.
Don't miss a moment of the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Find SEN2 on your digital radio today for live coverage of the match of the round. The Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL, live on SEN2 DAB+.
I'm a digital radio. To help explain why it's time to update your old radio, with me is my friend Digital TV.
Hi.
Where you go?
Remember when us TVs went digital?
Everyone does. Get to the point.
Suddenly, you got lots more channels for free.
Yes.
Well, it's the same with digital radio.
When you buy a digital radio, you can get all your favourite stations plus up to 30 extra ones, playing all kinds of music, live sport and talk.
That's pretty great.
It's really great.
All you have to do is head into your nearest retailer
Or check out digitalradioplus.com.au
and upgrade to digital.
Your Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL club needs you to show your support. Buying a VFL club membership helps support your local team and provides great discounts and match access. The VFL gives you the chance to get in the coach's huddle and enjoy kick-to-kick on the field, whilst kids under 15 get in free. Get involved in the VFL this season. Head to vfl.com.au/membership to find out what membership offers are available at your club in 2019.
Love your sport? Then you'll love SEN.
Stuart Appleby has come from 7 strokes behind.
And you'll find it on digital radio. Simply scroll to SEN, Melbourne's home of sport.
Streaming live through VFL.com.au. This is VFL Live.
Not far away from start in this round 16 clash at Box Hill City Oval. It is Box Hill taking on Richmond. It is 2v6. On the ladder, Adam Sarikoglu, Michael Peppicelli up in the commentary box. Our man at ground level today, and it's a perfect day for boundary riding. Glenn Hill is back on VFL Live. Hilly, we welcome you to the coverage for the first time today, and what a day it is out there.
Thanks for having me, guys. Yeah, it's a fantastic day at ground level here in Box Hill, and a great crowd has turned out already for this contest, and we're only 10 minutes away.
Having been involved in local footy, Hilly, a lot of grounds are in shocking condition around Melbourne at the moment, but Box Hill has held up very well despite the conditions. A little heavy in the middle, but around most of the ground, a nice firm deck and quite lush out there today.
Yeah, look, it's relatively firm. I just on centre wing at the moment. It's a little underfoot in terms of water that has obviously been on the ground throughout the week. We have had a bit of rain throughout the week, so I would expect the ground to hold up well throughout the day, and I think we're in for a treat of a game too.
We've seen a fair bit of Richmond here on VFL Live this year, but we also got a good look at Box Hill 2 weeks ago. Michael Peppicelli, Jared Roughhead's influence up forward is immense. I think Jonathan Siegler was one of the best men on the ground in the game we called a couple of weeks ago against the Cats. Of course, Dave Mirror, congratulations, game 150. He is Mr. Box Hill, finally got onto Hawthorn's AFL list after such an illustrious career as the captain here at Box Hill. He is the reigning Norm Goss medalist as well, so we congratulate him. A big day for Dave Mirror. There's a lot of big names out there, but you go to the Richmond side of the equation, and Jacob Townsend's one of the best players in the VFL. We can see Camden McIntosh actually walking past our box as we speak. It was an emergency for today's game when the teams were announced. But another interesting player out there today for the Tigers is Toby Nankervis in the ruck.
Yeah, that's right, Adam. Hasn't played since May. He hurt his adductor over in Perth in Richmond's round 8 win over the Dockers over at Optus Stadium. So his first game back from that major injury, and he'll be looking to certainly spend a bit of time in the ruck, as we know he can do, but just to build his fitness base back up and get ready for Richmond's AFL tilt at another premiership.
So two teams are warming up as we speak. As I said, Richmond can go to top spot on the ladder. Their run home after today is, well, they're playing against Collingwood on Friday night next week at Olympic Park. That's before the AFL game, of course, at the MCG. Then they get Casey, the Northern Blues, and the final round is actually, well, it looks like it will be a top-of-the-table clash at Windy Hill against Essendon. So that's a pretty tricky run home for Richmond, for Box Hill, who don't quite have their final spot locked in just yet. It's a somewhat easy draw for the Hawks. North Melbourne, Werribee, both away games. The Northern Blues and Collingwood are their run home. They have a bye next week, as well do the Hawks. So that's a fairly kind run home that Box Hill does have, and we know what damage they can do in the finals. I don't think they were anywhere close to the best team in the home and away season last year, Michael, and yet they still won the flag.
That's right. They did it the hard way, had to play through the elimination final and a semi-final as well. They had to play 4 games and they won all 4 of them. They're just hitting form at the right time of year too, Adam. They've won 3 of their last 4 games. Had a good win over Frankston last week over at Skybus, and the Dolphins really challenged them in that game, kept them to just 1 behind in the opening term. We know that ground can get quite blustery, but the Hawks came home with a flurry in the final term, kicked 7-7 to overrun the Dolphins, and yeah, as I said, they've won 3 of their last 4, and they'll look to keep rolling this afternoon and claim a really big scalp.
For those interested, around the grounds at the MCG, it is Hawthorn leading Geelong by 10 points, 7 minutes into the second term. 5-1-31 Hawthorn leading the Cats. 3-3-21. Mitch Lewis and Tim Kelly, the 2 most recent goal kickers in that game. 2 players that's fairly new to the AFL system, only a couple years in, but playing outstanding individual footy. Of course, Tim Kelly is, well, he might be the Brownlow favourite as we speak. Not far away from a start here, around the grounds in the hard jacket. Totally workwear. VFL, half-time at Coburg. The Lions 10-5-65, North Melbourne 9-5-59. Coburg might be on their way to a rare win. It'll be their 3rd of the season if they can get the job done over the Kangaroos today. Then we have, I've actually just lost the round there, Michael, on the VFL app. We'll bring it back. There we go. Footscray 7-14-56 leading Sandringham 4-5-29 at Trevor Barker Beach Oval. Scores level at Preston City Oval between the Northern Blues and Williamstown 4-3, 27-3-9. 27, we're not too far away from a start at Skybus Stadium between Frankston and Collingwood, only a couple of minutes away now from the first bounce. Hilly, wind conditions, I don't know if we've had the coin toss just yet. You're tossing the grass up. Which way is it going?
Certainly left of screen's going to be favoured today. Not by much, but there is a little breeze heading in that direction, maybe a 1-goal advantage.
So that will be to the northern end of the ground, or the Davey Street end of the ground if you're a Box Hill local. Another player, guys, who we haven't spoken about just yet is Josh Caddy. He's played the last couple of weeks in the VFL, can't find a spot in Richmond's AFL team. Quite unbelievably, had a big game last week with 26 touches, 7 tackles and a couple of goals. But with the Tigers rolling at AFL level, he'll really need to put in another standout performance to get back into that side.
Yeah, he certainly will. Just having a chat with Craig McRae beforehand, I'll certainly be monitoring minutes of some of the more elite players today with a view to going back into the seniors. So we'll see how that plays out today.
Today's umpires, Michael Powell, Leighton Rowe, who is back after 12 months away from umpiring with a foot injury, and Nick McInnes, who's actually a NEFL umpire on exchange today. That's our umpiring crew in green here for this round 16 clash. 2 teams in their huddles. Richmond, they're looking to go to top spot on the VFL ladder with a win here today. Box Hill, they can get themselves closer to the top 4. They can't get into the top 4 with a win today. They'll move to 5th if they can get the job done. As the 2 teams now head out into position, it will be Box Hill kicking to the Davey Street end of the ground in this opening term. Richmond will go to the White Horse Road end of the ground, not far away from the first bounce here.
So a big game for both sides.
It's like Jared Ruffhead starting down back, it looks like.
No, he's moving to the forward line. To the northern end of the ground. Jono Segler going to the offensive goal square as well.
No, you're right.
So just getting our orientation organised here at Box Hill City Oval.
Reset the compass.
We're ready to go. Round 16, hard yakka, totally workwear, VFL Live. So much on the line for both sides. The Tigers will be top of the VFL ladder with a win. this afternoon. And the Box Hill Hawks, they need to keep fighting for a spot in the top 4, and we're underway. Nankervis wins the first clearance. He'll be happy with that. Ball towards half forward, Menadue. Not usually his position, but he's turned it over. Kick might have been touched off the boot, so the Box Hill Hawks had to get going, and Miles was able to do so and found a man in his defensive goal square. Kicks a risky one for Brand. Tigers putting on good forward pressure early. Giath in to lay the tackle, and the umpire calls for it. No score in the first 30 seconds.
So Garthwaite's got the job on Roughhead to start things.
Tigers have it inside forward 50. Plenty of numbers around this footy early on. Whistle comes in, and it's going to be a Tigers free kick. Looks like it's going to be Arts' ball. "14 touches and a goal last week for Jake Arts. Had himself a good VFL season and has been a good player for this Tigers side since being picked up onto the AFL list. This kick will challenge him though, with the breeze going against him as well. He'll kick from about 52.
Of course, 2 weeks ago, Michael, this was the pocket where a lot of set shots went wayward in our game between Box Hill and Geelong.
That's right. Most of those missed to the right. We'll see how Arts goes here. He's going to take the shot, and he's missed to the right. A long way out of bounds on the full.
I think a lot of players get into that pocket and think that the ball will bend a long way right to left, but it doesn't seem to. And although they're kicking into a slight breeze here, you're certainly better off aiming at the right goalpost. Only a little bit of bend will bring it back.
So here's the milestone man in Dave Mirror. Clears toward this broadcast side of the ground. No mark was taken. Pitnet was there. Roughhead gets his hand pass out. Now Glass. Back to Segler. All the tall timber in a small area here for the Hawks. Miles, a nice little chippering board was good for Mercedes. Glass gets the hand pass over the top. Mirror. Another touch for Glass. The right football toward the outer wing. Good build up here for Box Hill so far. It's in the hands of Jackson Ross. Inside 50 for the first time today. Both 38s were there. The Richmond variety took the mark in Noah Bolter.
Back from injury this week, Noah Bolter. And he goes short with that little pass to Garthwaite. Just outside defensive 50. It's going to go all the way back to the last line of defence where Egmalesi Smith takes it, and now Naish pops it over the top to Garthwaite. Still inside defensive 50, the Tigers. Back to Bolter on the last line of defence, and eventually the Tigers work it out. They made it more difficult than it needed to be, but Morris was up to the challenge of gathering the loose ball. Gave it off to Townsend, and a good lead comes, and that's honoured to Callum Coleman-Jones, and now inside forward 50, looking for Nankervis in the one-on-one with Segler. Does well to lay the tackle though, the big fella. No prior opportunity though, and we'll get a ball up. No score in the opening 3.5 minutes. Round 16, Hard Yakka, Totally Workwear, VFL Live. Ball in an attacking position for the Tigers. Whistle, Box Hill free kick.
So it's on the outer side here. The free kick is to be taken by Luke Meadows. The kick toward the wing in Roughhead territory. Gets fisted toward the line. It's going to go out of play just forward of centre wing for the Tigers. Still waiting for the first score of the game. Is that correct? Yeah, you know, it is. It's still correct. That was out of bounds on the full. The shot from Jake Arts. Umpire brings it in. It's Pitnet in the ruck against Nankervis. He's against an AFL Premiership ruckman today. Both he and Jonathan Segler. Umpire will cross his arms after the boundary throw in. A couple of afters. Jacob Townsend ripped a Box Hill player off a teammate. That looked like it was Meadows, and he'll be the man to give it back to the umpire. Close to the boundary line here. Umpire throws it up. Sunday footy on VFL Live. First Sunday game we've had since the Easter Sunday doubleheader at Werribee much earlier in the season. Another stoppage here. Tigers will be on top of the ladder with the 4 points tonight. Essendon have the bye. Kick towards half forward, just bounces in front of Miller. Had to give off the handball. Townsend brought down straight away. And we've got another stoppage. A lot of stoppages on this outer side early on. The tackle was laid by Damon Greaves that time for Box Hill. And the rucks go again now. Curvis won the tap. Meadows feeds the hand pass out. Greaves struck the tackle. It was high, and Box Hill will get a free kick deep in the right half-back flank.
So it'll be Greaves' ball, right half-back. Just waiting for the ball to get back to him. Damon Greaves. 12 touches for him last week, averaging 13 for the season. He pokes it over the top to Mirror, who realised he could get it and go. And now he drives it long inside forward 50. Bolter there, had a big piece of it. Couldn't haul it in though. Usually elementary for him, that type of mark. But it works out okay for the Tigers as Caddy sends it along the boundary line to Townsend. He wants to go in board. Butler's up to the task. He takes the mark in front of Minchington. But this is where he's forced to hold it up. No short lead, so he's just going to send it high and long and hope for the best. Jayeth had first hands to it, and he got an arm chop as well for his troubles. He'll take the free kick and wants to go quickly. The switch might be on here for Box Hill. The Tigers have done a pretty good job of covering it up. Meadows wants to flick it over the top to Glass, and he's able to do so. Glass has been busy early, as has this man Miles. Pokes it into space, hoping Glass will run onto it, which he does. Handball now to Segler, but they've turned it over. Miller, Naish, tackled by Glass, and Box Hill able to stabilise and force it over the boundary line.
It's right in front of the Box Hill bench here, a game where we're still waiting for the first score. Almost 7 minutes played. Two teams you will expect to be a part of the September action this year. Tigers were runners-up in 17. Box Hill, the reigning premiers of 18. As Townsend emerges, the Liston Trophy winner of 17. We go inside 50. Bouncing ball. At the back is Coates. Someone has touched it. No, maybe not. That's gone all the way. And Richmond get the first goal of the game. It bounced through. A nice finish. What a 2017 Liston Trophy winner in Jacob Townsend. Richmond 1 straight 6. Box Hill yet to score.
Looked like someone might have gotten a hand to that one, but obviously the umpires had a better view of it than we did, and it's called good to go. You can see it here in the replay if you're watching us on vfl.com.au. A little bit of a controversial one perhaps, but no score reviews here in the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL, so the goal umpire's call is final. Segler and Nankervis go at it in the middle. Cousins feeds it out wide, and the Hawks are going to go forward. Bouncing ball just on the paint of 50, gathered by Garthwaite, charging outside defensive 50, but he turned it over to Moore, tries to mop up his own mess as Garthwaite, gives it to Nankervis, who's been busy early. Egmalesi Smith trying to crash his way through, but he took on too many. And it's going to be Cousins' free kick for Box Hill. Into the middle of the ground, Silvestro was there to thump it away there from Meadows, but the Hawks are going to go inside forward 50 anyway. Bouncing ball, tough one for Raducci. There was Pitternet to try and feed out the handball, but partially smothered, and Garthwaite happy to see it over for a rushed score.
Caulfield to take the kick in for Richmond. Wanted to go to Nation initially. Bolter was the other option. Does go to the latter. You can hear the calls of Noah. So he's gone the switch. One teammate not happy with him near effects mic. Healy might be able to tell us who that was. Instead he went to Garthwaite. Has that gone 15? No, it hasn't. So Richmond is struggling to get out of D50 here. It's back into goal square. We're back where we started. Bolter. Now he goes for the run. Does bring it to this near side of the ground. Handball over the top. Egmalesi Smith. Finally, Richmond do escape. Naish's little kick, not a great one. Put Coleman Jones under some pressure. He's tackled out of it by Cousins. Hand pass was missed. Eventually, Morris reclaims. English over the top. Menadue takes the mark just back of centre wing. Hand pass around Brands, and now Naish into attack for the Tigers. Jayeth there for Box Hill. Mirror does well, combines with Moore. Now Jayeth just on the edge of the centre square. Hand pass to Ross. Goes out wide. Mercedes. He'll send Box Hill into attack. It's a little left foot dinky pass. No mark was taken. At the back here, Egmalesi Smith for Richmond. Hand pass, Bolter. Just got his hand pass in time. No. Not an illegal disposal, according to Michael Pell, and a free kick for Box Hill to be taken by Luke Meadows.
That certainly looked like a clean handball. The umpire might have
fumbled, then got a fist to it, Hilly. So if you think that's a free kick, then I suppose it's play on.
That was a free kick.
High contact, and Box Hill will get a shot on goal. A slight angle to deal with for Taya Miles.
Yeah, the holding the ball decision was very rough. There was a little fumble, but he regathered and made a clear handball. Really stiff to be pinged for holding the ball, but that free kick was 100% there, too high. And Box Hill couldn't get a better chance to put a goal on the board.
Already the leading disposal getter on the ground right now, Taya Miles. This will be number 6. A slight angle to deal with. He is looking directly into the sun. Josh Caddy on the mark. The right football on the way from the young Hawk, and Box Hill's on the board. 1-1-7. They lead Richmond 1 straight 6. 11 gone opening term. Round 16 action on Hard Jacket. Totally Workwear VFL Live.
It's been a really even start to the game. Both defences are well on top. Both teams being able to intercept the ball coming forward, being able to run it out of defence. But it's just a battle of defence at the moment. Both midfields getting plenty of it, but not penetrating enough.
We mentioned Taya Miles, the leading disposal winner on the ground with 6 now in that goal. Connor Glass, Luke Meadows and Dave Mirror also seeing plenty of it early on. They have 4 disposals each. And for the Tigers, Bolter and Garthwaite and Naish all leading the way with 4 as well. All defenders as well, which gives you some sort of indication of how this game is being played. The Hawks are going to go forward once again, but Egmalesi Smith, the only man home. Back in the VFL after getting a taste of AFL footy. Played in the seniors the last couple of weeks, did Egmalesi Smith, and showed a bit, but the Tigers might be out here. Silvestro has a man on his own at half forward. Giath getting back. Did well to get hands to it. Probably could have taken the mark in the end, although it was a tough one. Nelson's kick in board. Did the right thing team-wise, but had a little bit too much on it for his teammate, and the Hawks able to come back in numbers and force the stoppage.
Giath did really well there for Box Hill to get back. He's been really impressive in the air so far.
Street was the intended target of that kick from Nelson. Bit too tall for him as we get another stoppage here. Inside forward 50 for the Tigers. They trail at 1 straight 6 to 1-1-7. Almost 13 minutes gone opening term. Hawks able to work it out by hand, but it comes unstuck as Caddy just pokes it laterally for Brewer. His handball's a sweeping one even further wide, but Egmalesi Smith not able to gather, forced to lay the tackle. And that's where play comes to a halt. Top of the table on offer for the Tigers if they can take care of business this afternoon, but Box Hill has its own plans. They need to try and keep winning to solidify their chances of a top 4 position, and they'll clear defensive 50 here. Brandon Giath by hand. They're making it a little bit more difficult than it needs to be. Markov, good pressure. Got a hand to that handball and forced it out of play.
Round of grounds, 2-1 in favour of Collingwood over Frankston. Broomhead Glover, the goal kick is there for the Magpies.
In fact, it was a free kick to Markov. He was actually pushed in the back while out of play. He doesn't look to have the shot. Sends it wide, and Big Fist comes in for a rush behind. 1-1-7 apiece now after 14 minutes.
Scores level at Coburg City Oval as well between the Lions and North Melbourne. 11-5, 71 apiece. Some close games around the VFL today. Brand's kick in, doesn't quite reach Roughhead. Maybe he didn't need to. Walker was in the right spot, couldn't juggle the mark though. Umpire crosses his arms. And we'll have the ball up. Scores level here as well. Segler tried to grab it from the ruck. Roughhead missed it. Eventually blazing away towards half forward. Now Aduchi's in the foot race, but beaten to the ball that time by Diggins. Bolter forced out of play by Aduchi. Boundary throw in right in front of Glen Hill.
Just get Jared Roughhead just going past me. Still hasn't lost any of his size. Such a formidable centre-half forward.
Took a screamer in the first quarter in our game 2 weeks ago. Still got some spring in the step as well. The former number 2 draft pick. Richmond do win it back. English gets a kick towards half forward. Bouncing ball straight. Hand pass before Mira got him, but it was a wayward ball. Now Kazitsky straight. Was his jumper pulled by Caden Brands? It was. Free kick for Geelong. Sorry, Richmond. Two scores. And 2 kicks away from scoring here. Street goes short. That's okay. Menadue. No, it's not okay. Not 15. Had to rush his kick toward the goal square. Jai flew, no mark taken. Ground level, Markov, can he find a way through? He can. Richmond get their second. 2-1-13, Box Hill 1-1-7. 15 and a half minutes gone, opening term.
And again, the Tigers just moving into a dangerous position. So that's where they're getting their scores on the board at the moment. When they get into that dangerous position, top of the goal square, that's the spot for them. Every time they go entry wide, they don't seem to score, or there is a turnover. But when they get into that hot spot, they always look dangerous.
3rd goal of the season for Oleg Markov. We're usually used to seeing him as a rebounding defender, but playing a forward role this afternoon and doing it nicely. Gets the early goal. That gives the Tigers a 6-point lead. 16 and a half minutes into this opening term here at Box Hill City Oval. The Hawks have been dominant in the clearances so far, but the Tigers get one back through Collier Dawkins. Bouncer towards half forward. Hart's doing well to battle against 3 or 4 Hawks, and he wins himself a free kick as well. Craig McRae will be happy with that effort from Jake Arts. Too far out to score. He's going to set it up towards the pocket. Whistle. There was a hold in the marking contest. A mark was taken anyway by Silvestro, I believe, but the free kick going Richmond's way, and it's going to be Naish to have a shot. Or is it Street? Looks like it's Naish. He comes in, and the kick is good. Tigers get 2 in a minute. They're out to a 12-point lead.
Just moved the ball quick again and picked the fat side of the ground that time just to mix things up a little bit. Had a couple of one-on-one setups there for the Tigers and out-positioned. Box Hill player gave away the free kick and led to an easy goal in the end from the Tigers. And they're just starting to assert some influence in this game, just starting to look the better team at the moment.
Just getting some news out of the MCG. Healy is what looks to be a potential serious knee injury to Hawthorn's Jarman Impey. Landed awkwardly on his right knee in a marking contest. And he has been clapped off the ground at the MCG, which normally indicates that his day is definitely done, and it could be a lot longer than that. So that's injury news that will filter down to Box Hill as Richmond go inside 50, and they'll get another shot on goal. A good mark was taken directly in front here for Oleg Markov.
Again, another centre clearance, just getting on top in that area of the ground as well. And again, just kept in the corridor. Every time they go wide, don't look like it, but every time they get in the corridor, they look very likely to score, the Tigers. So
Markov, Richmond putting together a nice little run here in the opening term. This will be for his second. A slight angle, right foot's on the way, and it was a perfect kick off the boot. Tigers on a roll early at Box Hill, 4-1-25. The Hawks are 1-1-7. Still a minute away from time on in this opening term. Coming back to the news from the MCG, it looks like Jarman Impey. Well, fingers crossed that it's not too serious, but you and I looked at the replay, Michael, and I think there'll be at least one Box Hill Hawk playing for Hawthorn next week in his place.
That's right. It doesn't look too good at all for Jarman Impey. Having a very good season for the Hawks, he is, but looks like he might be out for quite some time. We wish him all the best in his recovery, and well, I guess we'll get that injury confirmed in the next couple of days as play restarts, and it's going to be Townsend's ball. So the Tigers are rolling here, and they're going to go forward again. Townsend hoists it high, looking for Coleman Jones, the tall timber. Got hands to it. Coates there too. Now a chance for Nelson. Goes in board with the kick. Top of the square. Fist. and Giath sees it over. Under siege at the moment, the Hawks. They trail by 19 points. 4-2 plays 1-1.
Took the words out of my mouth there, Michael Pepicelli. The kick in to be taken by Taya Miles. He's the lone goal scorer for Box Hill so far. He goes short to Giath. In front of the main balcony here at Box Hill City Oval on a more picturesque grounds in the VFL. He goes to his skipper over the top, and Moore has it for Box Hill. Of course, the former captain's out there today in Dave Mirror. Had to relinquish the captaincy for the best possible reason, because he ended up on Hawthorn's AFL list. We've got a ball up here. Hawks made a mess of that. We're near the boundary line. Somewhat good crowd here today. A lot of Richmond support out here, as you would imagine, with Hawthorn playing in the same time slot. There's a throw here after the tackle. There's a fair bit going on.
I think you'll find there's a free kick there for a sling tackle.
Okay, and that was the motion I saw the umpire make there. So a free kick for Jacob Townsend. At the moment, he's looking like he's lining up. Doubt he's going to have a shot from there. The kick toward the hot spot. Mirror over the top. The big fist toward the line to kill it off. It stays in play initially. Now it's how to play right forward pocket, boundary throwing. So that's one to keep an eye on now, with Jarman Impey seemingly going to be out for the rest of the season with a knee injury. We'll keep an eye on how many Box Hill players might be in line to take that spot. Little kick toward the square. A lot of humanity over the top of it. A lot of stoppages at the moment. Hard to find space. A ball up at the top of the square here for Richmond. Can they get goal number 5? Only 22 minutes in. Hawks need to find a way out here. Umpire throws it up. Pit net in front of Nankervis. Ball cleared away by Meadows, but it goes straight down the throat of Naish, who did kick a goal from this range earlier in the quarter.
And you'd have to think going on that earlier attempt, this one is in a very, very similar position. He should have no trouble with this.
So Patrick Naish, 45-degree angle. Looks like a good day for goal kicking. To the White Horse Road end of Box Hill City Oval. Naish on the way, hooked it.
Just poisoned him on that occasion. He's been playing really well all throughout the game, and just helicoptered that one.
4-3-27 Richmond. Box Hill 1-1-7.
Usually a prodigious kick of the footy is Patrick Naish. Having a fantastic season at VFL level, averaging 24 disposals a game, and another young Tiger who's tasted some senior footy this year in the absence of some of the Tigers' stars, but finds himself back in the VFL and kicked a nice goal earlier. The Hawks have worked this towards centre wing, and now Segler's out. The kick had a little bit too much on it for him. Egmalesi-Smith needs to track it down and does. Looking for options inboard, not finding anything he likes. Takes a risky bounce with Ross in pursuit and eventually just clears it, but it's coming straight back. The mark taken by Brand. And the Hawks can reload. They need to settle here, Hawthorn. They need a goal quickly. A Box Hill, I said Hawthorn. Did that last time as well, Adam, but inside forward 50 we go. Ross, that was clever basketball. The roller, it's tumbling, it's goaling.
Great goal.
Jack Ross kicks a ripper.
Great goal, and that'll get the Box Hill fans up and about. They're a little quiet at the moment.
I was going to say, Hilly, how many of them are there?
Tigers have been well on top in this contest, yeah.
What is the Box Hill contingent in the crowd? Because it is a bit of an anomaly that Hawthorn's playing at the same time.
Might be behind the glass a little bit at the moment, the Box Hill supporters. Obviously, they had their luncheon today.
Balcony's well populated, as it always is, as it would be on a perfect day like this.
It certainly is, but I'd say the Tigers fans are outnumbering them today.
If you're watching us on VFL.com.au, you just see how clever Jack Ross was in that situation. Bounced it back to himself like he was dribbling a basketball and then rolled it through. And Connor Glass did very well not to get a boot to that and take credit for Ross's good work.
Better handles than Kyrie Irving that time. We're back in the middle. Townsend straight into attack for Richmond. It's a bouncing ball in front of Coleman Jones. It's going to stay in play here until it doesn't. Boundary throw-in, just bounced out of play.
Lovely tap work on that occasion from Nankervis, just giving first use to the Tigers.
It's going to be an important factor for Richmond here today. Ball thrown back in. Nankervis in front of Segler. Just reached over the shoulder. English did get a half kick away, but didn't have enough time to straighten up and get a clean look at goal. So it's a point for Richmond. 4-4-28, Box Hill 2-1-13. As we tick past the 25-minute mark of the opening term.
Mirror plays on and wants to send it long and wide to the broadcast side. Tall timber there, Roughhead, Pitternet and Segler. They almost spoiled each other, but eventually they worked it out, and Pitternet was the last man standing with ball in hand. Gives the handball off immediately, and another long ball towards half forward, but all the tall targets were on centre wing, but they did well to make a contest, the Hawks. Menadue was courageous there, going up against the much larger Pitternet, but turns it over with the kick to Mirror. And now they've got numbers fanning to the open side here to the Hawks. Greaves sends it wide to Glass, and he just has to hold it up for a moment. Minchington running, and he gets it. Decides to go as well, and that's because he had Golds on his own in the pocket.
Now, with this bit of kind of angle that the winds could favour Hilly.
No, it's really not doing much at the moment. It's really flat.
Yeah, the trees are still here.
Really still, so...
Unlike yesterday.
The wind shouldn't be affecting this at all. It really was only a slight breeze to start the game, so it wouldn't affect this kick at all.
Kicked a very important goal for the Hawks in their big win over the Cats 2 weeks ago. Golds goes the banana this time and just misses to the near side. Margin back to 14 points. The Hawks have wrested back some ascendancy in this one.
They've won their last two, Box Hill. 15-point win at Frankston last week. Silvestro has it here for Richmond. They're coming off an 8-point win against the other set of Tigers here in the VFL. That was at home to Werribee. Before that, a 58-point loss to Footscray. That was a disappointing one. The Dogs, by the way, are looking good this year in the VFL there. With a real chance to finish in the top two. Knock potentially Richmond or Essendon out of that top two as Bolter kicked towards half forward. Townsend jumped, gets the hand pass off. Tigers in attack, holding onto it straight, gets a look. Awkward left foot ball. It almost bounced through like the Townsend one earlier. It's touched on the way through though. Minus score 4-5-29 Richmond. Box Hill 2-14 approaching quarter time.
15-point game. The Hawks want to take it on, and they do out wide. Segler, good mark. Did well to take it in front of Naish, who had front position. And he goes back for Mirror, inside defensive 50. Thought about the switch, but then revised his decision and thought up the line was a better option, but he's turned it over on this occasion to Brewer. 13 touches and 1 goal, 3 last week for Blake Brewer. This one's a high ball towards half forward. Coleman Jones there, did well to get it to ground. Now Townsend one way, then the other. Lucky not to be called for holding the ball there. Did just enough in the umpire's eyes, and perhaps the boundary line might have helped him too.
Speaking of Footscray, they lead by 21 over Sandringham, and it's a pretty commanding lead because that is 16 minutes into the last quarter at Beach Oval.
15-point ball game. Nankervis thumps it inside forward 50, but no one home. Mercedes takes it and just pounds it outside of defensive 50 where Golds takes the mark. Kicks it into the man on the mark though. Quick turnover. Nankervis has it inside forward 50 for the Tigers.
Around the ground, 7-point leads for both Coburg and Williamstown as well. Low-scoring game at Frankston. Dolphins leading Collingwood 2-2-14 to 2 straight 12.
Have we got the stats on Nankervis' first quarter? Because he seems like he's had quite a few touches and been very dominant in the ruck.
4 touches, 9 hit-outs, mark, and 2 tackles.
He looks like he hasn't missed a beat, Hilly, in his return from a long injury layoff, and this would be the perfect way to signal his return. Nankervis comes in after the siren and kicks a big goal for the Tigers. 5-5-35 now they are, leading Box Hill 2-2-14. They'll go into the first change with a 21-point lead. 2
goals for Oleg Markov, singles, Jacob Townsend, Toby Nankervis and Paddy Naish for Box Hill, Jackson Ross and Taya Miles are the goal kickers. We'll take a break here on Hard Jacket, Totally Workwear, VFL Live. We'll go around the grounds, take a look at some of the key stats for this game so far. And the second term will be coming up right after that. Quarter time, Box Hill, City Oval. It's Richmond over Box Hill by 21 points.
At Totally Workwear, we kit out the brickies, the chippies, the foremen, the tradies. Did we say foremen? They're not all men, some are ladies. Yes! Work in an office, retail, healthcare, hospitality. Here's where you'll find all your workwear. Yeah, totally. Totally Workwear have got you covered with the best brands, best value and best service. Totally Workwear. Get what you want and get back to work. Totally Workwear.
Nature's an amazing place. It's a perfect balancing act, thriving with life. Some of which we don't even see. Like the billions of microorganisms that help keep nature in balance. At Swiss, the quest continues.
Your Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL club needs you to show your support. Buying a VFL club membership helps support your local team and provides great discounts and match access. The VFL gives you the chance to get in the coaches' huddle and enjoy kick-to-kick on the field, whilst kids under 15 get in free. Get involved in the VFL this season. Head to vfl.com.au/membership to find out what membership offers are available at your club in 2019.
I'm a digital radio.
And I'm a digital TV. Now, you may remember when TV went digital.
Yes, and you got a lot more channels and a better picture.
Well, buying a digital radio is the same.
Exactly. I've got up to 30 extra radio stations, plus all your old faves, and I sound amazing.
Yeah, but I look amazing.
Yeah, but this is a radio ad, so no one can see you.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to hear this station like you have never heard it before,
buy a digital radio.
Head into your nearest retailer and upgrade to digital.
For club interviews and all the news from the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL and Swiss Wellness VFL Women's, don't miss the VFL Hour during the Sporting Capital with Jack Heverin, Tuesdays from 9 p.m. on 1116 SEN.
But it's your job. We'll be fine.
Mate, just because everybody seems like they're doing it doesn't actually mean that they are doing it.
Help your kids understand that betting and sport don't have to go together.
The ads don't always tell you the risks, yeah?
Before you have the talk, check lovethegame.vic.gov.au. Authorised by VRGF Melbourne.
Don't miss a moment of the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Find SEN2 on your digital radio today for live coverage of the match of the round. The Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL, live on SEN2 DAB+.
Love your sport? Then you'll love SEN.
Looks to be the last game of the first set. Almagro leading 5-3.
And you'll find it on digital radio. Simply scroll to SEN, Melbourne's home of sport.
Streaming live through VFL.com.au. This is VFL Live.
Welcome back to Box Hill City Oval, where it's Richmond 5-5-35, leading Box Hill 2-2-14 on this round 16 edition of Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL Live. Well, both sides are in the huddles, and our man boundary side, Glenn Hill, will endeavour to get an interview with either Craig McRae or Max Bailey coming out of the huddles. But before we do that, Adam, we'll just run through some stats before going around the grounds. And we'll start with the Tigers. And Pat Naish leading the way with 7 touches and 1 goal, 1 as well in that opening term. Caddy and English both have 6. Well, Bolter, Egg Malesi Smith, Menadue, Nankervis and Townsend each have 5. Toby Nankervis, as we mentioned, has not missed a beat in his return from a long injury layoff, and he kicked that goal just after the quarter-time siren to show that he is well and truly at full strength. Now having a look at the Hawks, Taya Miles leads the way with 10 and also kicked a goal as well. Dave Mirra, the milestone man, has 7 disposals, and Segler, Glass, Giath, Mesidi and Meadows each have 5.
Round of grounds, it's a busy day of VFL action. By the way, Hilly, if you're in the huddles and you've got an interview, your mic is on, just cut us off. Footscray are on their way to a win against Sandringham at Beach Oval, 11-16-82 Footscray, Sandringham 8-9-57. Coburg is running away with it against North Melbourne, close to 3, quarter time up by 15 points, 14-9-93 to North Melbourne's 12-6. 78, we have a third quarter score from Preston City Oval. This is what's happening at Kramer Street. 4-14-38, Williamstown leading the Northern Blues 4-5-29, a margin that should be far greater if you're looking at that through Williamstown glasses, and the game that's running at the same time slot as ours. Collingwood 3 straight 18 leading Frankston 2-14, 4-point lead for the Magpies. Two of those teams are the teams we'll see next week on VFL Live. It'll be North Melbourne and the Northern Blues. Here's Glenn Hill.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks, Craig, again for joining us. What a great start to the quarter.
Yeah, we haven't actually had a day. If you're listening, you wouldn't know. It's actually a ripping day here. We've had wet days this time of year, but really good to manage in the game, and particularly our defence is what we're excited about.
You're getting some great work from your ruckman in that quarter. Nankervis is fantastic, getting first use.
Yeah, he looks like a serious player at this level, doesn't he? Like, he's an AFL star for our team, and he imposed himself on the game in his tackling pressure, and then gets a goal late on the siren, which really lifted it too.
The first 10 minutes or so was sort of a defensive struggle, and then it opened up, and once your offence clicked into gear and got into the corridor, you looked really dangerous.
Yeah, we built a game off our defence, so our turnovers, being in good shape behind the ball, and making them pay going forward. So, that's the part of the game we want to maintain.
All right. I'm Craig. Good luck with the remainder.
Glenn Hill with the Richmond coach, Craig McRae. What a start it was for Richmond. 2 goals for Oleg Markov, for singles, Jacob Townsend, Toby Nankervis, and Patrick Naish. It's the entire, it's a goal kicker list that's made up entirely of AFL listed players. Second term underway, Richmond by 21. Here's Michael Pepicelli.
So what do the Hawks have in response? Kicking to the White Horse Road end or the southern end in this second term. They win the first clearance, but that only goes as far as Naish, who started this game well. The Tigers' leading disposal winner. Number 8 is a good one as well, and finds Caddy on the outer side. And the Tigers content to play it slow as Caddy gets it back from Egmalesi Smith. And those two are just playing around for fun. Egmalesi Smith and Caddy gives it back to him, but they've turned it over here, the Tigers. Good pressure by the Hawks. And we get a stoppage in the centre square. So no side has gone inside 50 yet in the opening 50 seconds of quarter number 2. Free kick against Pitternet for a ruck infringement. Nankervis gives off the handball to Menadue running past. Has Coleman Jones leading, and the big fella does well to slide in and take that mark on his chest. About a kick and a half from goal. Has Townsend calling for it long. He's going to go in that direction. Coates is there, got one hand to it. Menadue now wrapped up at ground level. Ball still ricocheting free. Umpire letting it go for the time being, but eventually has no choice but to intervene.
Just on the outskirts of 50 here for the Tigers. 5-5-35 leading Box Hill 2-2-14. As you can imagine, Craig McRae quite happy with what he saw in the opening term, particularly from the big man Toby Nankervis. We're inside 50 here for the Tigers. Giath gets in the way for Box Hill. Now Kaczynski feeds out the handball. Mirrors kick. Not too good. Turned over. Egmalesi Smith kept on running. Kicks on the way to the goal line. Butler with the soccer skills.
Wow.
Another goal for Richmond. He backheld it into the back of the nets. And that's number 6 for the Tigers. 6-5-41. Box Hill 2-2-14. Looking for top spot on the ladder. Richmond are looking good today.
Great reactions there from Butler. When the ball hit the ground, he's the first to react. And Box Hill players were a little slow. And they hit the deck there, and Butler just made them pay.
Well, Richmond playing like a team with more on the line this afternoon, which isn't necessarily the case. Yes, the Tigers can go top with a win here, but Box Hill has plenty to play for itself. Its top 8 position, not yet a certainty, and they could look to break into that top 4 as well, but they need to win games like this, and so far the Tigers are teaching them a bit of a lesson at the moment, up by 27 points. Here go the Hawks forward. Aducci had it dislodged momentarily and then tried to hack it forward, but it was turned over. Now a chance for Butler, the last goal kicker. Can he go for 2 in a minute? Handball intercepted there by Brand, but still going is Butler. Does well, burrowing in, and now we get a stoppage.
Of course, top 2 is really important here in the VFL as well, because you get to play the qualifying final at your home preferred venue as opposed to the neutral venue, which more often than not is Adcon Stadium at Port Melbourne.
Free kick for a hold going Andrew Moore's way.
Not that helped Richmond last year, and they lost at the Swinburne Centre against Williamstown.
Big game last week for the skipper, 32 touches and 8 tackles, and Giath has a 50 here. It's just held on to after taking that mark. And Giath's kick is a good one. Mark taken by Walker. He'll kick from about 54. He's looking confident in his ability to make the distance. Turned his back almost immediately after marking it and said, "Hold on, boys, I've got this." Certainly has the distance covered, but well across the face of goal. And sneaks in for one behind. Tigers lead it by 26.
Derek Egg-Malesi-Smith to bring this back in. Got his taste of AFL footy in recent weeks. We've seen him quite a bit here on VFL Live this year. Went with the hand pass to Bolter, bounced its way through to Morris. That's where it came unstuck for Richmond. And Box Hill does have a free kick here on the outskirts of 50. Taya Miles, the right foot ball, just looking for the short pass in the pocket. That didn't work out. It was smothered. Now Townsend, Garthwaite, Caddy holds on to it. Waited for Glass to come to him. He never did, so he gave off anyway. The kick wasn't great toward the wing. Meadows in the right spot for Box Hill. Just on centre wing, a game that's lacking a bit of bite right now, a bit of flair. It was a nice goal kicked by Dan Butler a couple minutes ago. But the home fans have been fairly quelled so far today. Walker, the kick in toward 50. No mark was taken. Tigers get it back. Hack toward the wing. We've got a foot race. It took a bounce. Then Markov, the hand pass to advantage. He's up against Kazitsky here in the foot race. Bouncing ball. It's going to stay in. Markov didn't want to let it go out of play. He's got Kazitsky for company. It's forced out of play. Boundary throw in, and Glenn Hill had a perfect view of it. The neutral decision was made.
Doesn't get any more deliberate than that.
Fair bit of pressure around Hill.
Doesn't matter if you deliberately put the ball over the boundary line, Adam. It is a free kick.
The word deliberate is in the name of the rule. Boundary throw in. Here's Collier Dawkins, gives off his handball. Nankervis smothered off the boot there by Mirror. Just popped up in the air. Arts at ground level. Had a couple of Hawks to work through. Couldn't do so. Now the tackle laid by Stu Horner. Ball up inside 50 for Richmond.
In fairness to the central umpire on that occasion, may have been
fair way off.
Yeah, it may have been impeded with his view, but that might bring the boundary umpires into play to be able to pay that free kick if they deem so.
6.5 minutes gone in this second term. Tigers have kicked the only goal.
So that'll become the situation we have in soccer, Hilly, where the assistant refs can make their own decisions and blow the whistle.
Yeah, I think that would be something that would help the game.
Pressing for another one here, the Tigers, but the Hawks able to rebound defensive 50. Cousins' kick, though, intercepted by Garthwaite. Has Egg-Malesi-Smith short and pokes it towards him, and now Caddy has it at half back. They're conceding a lot of ground here, the Tigers, but they want to affect the switch. Bolter ignored the short option and went longer to Miller. Has Street short, instead bites off the more difficult kick. Markov did well to pick it up. Good turning circle as well, but turns it over with the kick. The mark taken by Mercedes.
Inside defensive 50 is Damien Mercedes. Umpire's going to tell him to get on with things. He kicks toward the outer side. Glass was in position A, no mark was taken. Ball's kept in play, but the kick is wayward out of bounds on the full. Just under pressure was Tom Maloney as he got booed to ball, and he coughs it up on centre wing. Naish, ball's lost in the car park, and he gets it back now. Richmond ball on centre wing. They lead by 26 points. The kick was backward. And okay for Derek Egmalesi-Smith. Don't mind that when you are trying to open up the play. There are conversations about maybe not allowing marks to be paid when the kick goes backward. I am against that one. Garthwaite. English. He takes the mark and wants to get on with it. A spiral over the top, and Roughhead's in the right spot. Haven't called his name much so far today, Jared Roughhead. Left foot ball. It's a very good release kick for Ross. Is at 50 as well. Noah Bolter brought him down. Looks like it was a bang-bang kind of play where as soon as Ross took the mark, that's when the contact came. He goes short, and the mark taken by Moore. Doesn't want to have a shot in front of the veranda here. At least not initially. Umpire gets the line right. Ryan Garthwaite marks the spot, and at least for the time being, Andrew Moore is looking at 6 points.
As we talked about before, it's a really tough pocket to kick from, but if anyone was going to slot one from the boundary line, Andrew Moore has had plenty of shots from here over the years.
That's right where Box Hill's race is. So on training nights, this is where a lot of the shots would be taken. You called it, Glenn Hill. A much-needed goal for Box Hill. The skipper goes bang, 3-3-21. Richmond 6-5-41. 20-point lead for the Tigers.
It's just a lovely kick of the footy, Andrew Moore, and obviously trains here on a weekly basis, and he's got that pocket down pat.
Goal number 5 for 2019 for Andrew Moore, averaging just over 23 disposals per game, putting together another fine season for the Box Hill Hawks. And it took almost 10 minutes, but the Hawks do have their first goal of the second term.
There's one against the run of the play because the Tigers have had plenty of possession so far in this quarter. And they desperately needed that one, Box Hill, to stay in the contest.
Back in the middle, plenty of numbers around it. Segler tried to get boot to ball, unable to do so. Toe poked out of there, but only as far as Glass. And now a chance for Horner. Just pokes it out wide for the running Cousins. Wasn't able to gather cleanly, and now the pack comes in. Taken now by Caddy. He's been everywhere so far in this game, and now a chance for Egmalesi-Smith. Sends a high, difficult bouncing ball. Street did well to gather it, used his whole body. Now Menage, who's in all sorts of trouble, one way then the other. Big bump came in from Caddy, won the footy as well. Sends it towards half forward. The Tigers are on fire at the moment. Markov tries to get around Giant, but Jankoot says no. Great stuff from the defender.
Great tackle from Giant. Having a fantastic game.
Giant Nance going back up on his feet, by the way, he's okay.
Box Hill's best today so far.
So Giant concedes ground. Mercedes, former Borough man, to the former skipper, Dave Mirror. Plenty of Hawks in space, and the ball does fall into the lap of Mitchington. Former Zebra, he goes wide, and Roughhead takes the mark onto the trusty left. Box Hill's inside 50. Players might have lost it in the sun. Bouncing ball, a lot of brown and gold there. The snap from Walker. They need a goal, Box Hill, and they get it. Back-to-back goals for the hosts. 4-3-27, Richmond 6-5-41, and maybe Box Hill's now making its move.
Yeah, they certainly are. Just getting into that dangerous spot at full forward at that end of the ground. It's so much more likely you're going to score when you get into the hot spot down there. Great snap from Walker, keeps Box Hill in it.
10 goals, 9 coming into this game. Matt Walker, just the 8.5 disposals per game for him, but he's a low disposal, high impact type of player, and we saw what type of finishing he's capable of on that occasion. And the Hawks all of a sudden back in this game. 14 points the margin. Moore tries to burrow it forward for the Hawks, but unable to do so. Art's in there now for Richmond. Just gets it towards half forward. doing well to gather it on the bounce with Street. Now the kick comes in towards full forward, punched away from Markov. Good defending by the Hawks. Miles eventually able to gather, gives it off to Minchington. They're running in numbers now, the Hawks. They're surging forward. Handball was a curious decision though, backwards to Giath. They had runners going forward and they affect the turnover. Giath again, brilliant smother. He might have copped one to the face there. Big falcon for Chankuth Giath. He needs to get back up because the Tigers are going inside forward 50. English towards Coates. Segler gets back in the hole.
Didn't even have to jump that time there, did Segler. Sorry, Hilly.
Poor option from English on that occasion. 3-on-1, he kicked 2 instead of going down the line one more time.
So Miles is going to come across the face, bring it back toward the broadcast side. A lot of yellow and black there, no mark taken. Here's English, he can redeem himself, but got tangled up with his own teammate there in Silvestro. Eventually it was picked up by Horner, but he was brought down. Solid tackle. Kazitsky, little chipper over the top. That's okay for Golds. Box Hill out of danger. Will Golds has it, still inside defensive 50. Box Hill have kicked the last 2 goals of the game. Margin 14 points. It was 21 at quarter time. No disposal there from Ninscowan and a free kick here for Garthwaite. Just forward of centre wing. Cuts back inboard. There's an option in the corridor. Brewer goes further wide. This is Naish. The right foot ball inside 50. Street had the ball hit his chest nicely. Goes over the top and English has plenty of space. He'll have a shot from the pocket. Front of the cricket nets here.
Does he go the outside of the boot?
That's what we saw as a Golds in the first quarter. It was.
That's right.
Michael Peppercelli says. Short-term memory, much better than mine. Right now, all eyes are on Luke English. He misses to the near side, as so often is the case from that kind of angle. 6-6-42 Richmond, Box Hill 4-3, 27. Halfway into the second term. It's round 16 in the hard jacket, Totally Workwear VFL.
Tigers by 15 and they need a goal. It feels funny to say that, but it's the truth at the moment. Menadue to Garthwaite, that kick on his non-preferred. Under pressure as well, and that's out of bounds on the full. That's into the crowd.
It's nearly into the commentary box.
There's a Canucks supporter there that was hoping that ball would come his way. Just bounced away from him.
That's right. Used to dealing with a puck as opposed to an oval ball, but did okay in the end. But either way, the Hawks are going to clear D50. Horner gives it to Miles, and now a chance on the outer side with Greaves. He can go carefully up the line for Minchington. Wants to go immediately, has numbers in board, but not able to take the mark on that occasion. And now the Tigers a chance to slice and dice their way through, but just a little bit untidy at the moment. Brewer turns it over to Giath. He's been a colossus for the Hawks in this game, but again, Box Hill turn it over just a little bit haphazard with their ball movement. Eventually it's picked up by Mercedes. His kick is a roller, but it might just work out. Pitternet received the handball from Moore. Targets inside 50. Walker, one of those.
Yeah, the Tigers just lost their way getting back there in terms of their defence. Too many loose Box Hill players in the corridor. And now they get their chance to drag that margin back again.
So to kick his second goal of the game and also make it consecutive goals for himself, Matt Walker will kick from just inside 50. Not much angle to speak of. And that's local knowledge. Uses the breeze to perfection. Box Hill right back in this game. They're 5-3-33. Richmond 6-6-42. Approaching time on quarter number 2.
Liked how after the previous goal you described him as a low disposal, high impact sort of player. The number he inherited was the king of that, Michael Peppercelli.
He certainly was. Cyril Rioli, the number 33, the absolute epitome of the high impact, low disposal player.
It's hard to find a Hawthorn supporter that won't tell you that Cyril's their favourite, one of their favourite all-time players to watch. Not just Hawthorn supporters. I think any lover of the game loved the way he went about it. Back in the middle. It is soggy in the middle here at Box Hill today. The only part of the ground, it is a little choppy. Nanska went hand pass out. Meadows, one way to the other. Cuts back onto the left. Pitternet can't take the mark. Brewer's there for Richmond. Hot ball to win. Eventually emerging Aducci. Throws it onto the left. Garthwaite's in the spot, but he's going to be happy to see that go out of bounds on the full. Tigers will get it back next to the behind post and right by the scoreboard, which has the Tigers up by 9 points. 18 minutes gone, second term. Garthwaite wanted to go down the line. Last minute changed his mind. Went short across the face of goal to Caddy. And he'll lob one over the top for Naish. Good use by foot so far here for the Tigers. Caddy gets it back from Naish. Then the hand pass over the top. Bolter wanted to put on the afterburners, but he found an option in the middle of Box Hill City Oval. It was Brewer. Dropped the mark, had time to regather. Then released by hand, and this is a good build-up here for the Tigers. Next in the chain is Arts. Dropped the mark in front of Brand. Allowed him back into the contest. Did well though. Hand pass came out. Now a high ball top of the square. 2 Tigers against 1 Hawk. And Oleg Markov marks in point blank range.
Well positioned. Unusual, I suppose, to go the chest mark there, but positioned his body extremely well. And he's a good capitaliser, this guy. He'll slot this one for the Tigers, no doubt about that.
This will be for his 3rd goal. Will become the leading goal kicker on the ground. And the margin will go to 15 points if he does kick it. Right foot does the job. 3 goals for Oleg Markov. 7 for Richmond, 7-6-48. Box Hill 5-3-33. We're approaching time on in the second term.
Like any good player kicks a goal these days, straight off. Straight off he goes.
He's having an impact in his new role, Oleg Markov. 3 first half goals. Coming into this game, he had only kicked 2 for the season, so he's certainly having himself a day out as Menadue, the man to replace him, takes his spot inside forward 50. And the Tigers get a much-needed steadying goal. They lead now by 15 points. About to tick into time on. Nankervis in the ruck once again, wins it down, but the Hawks have the momentum. They're going forward off the boot of Meadows. Kick over the head of Bolter. Garthwaite tracking it. I think he'll be happy to see it out of play. And that's exactly what he does. 7-6-48, plays 5-3-33. Round 16 action, hard yakka, totally workwear VFL Live. We hope you're enjoying the coverage, whether you're watching us on VFL.com.au or listening via SEN2. As Nankervis wins it down, Egmalesi Smith, hands were quick and the Tigers clear. Caddy has it. Defensive edge of the centre square. Giath needs to make a lot of ground to get to this kick, and he does it beautifully. Plays on immediately, perhaps not the best idea. Glass made it look okay, though. Meadows had a couple of Tigers to contend with, and his kick was smothered. Plenty of numbers around it once again. Giath gets the tackle in on Nankervis. Eventually, the ball spills free. Nelson lays a good tackle on Cousins. And the ball over the boundary line.
All that applause you heard there in our effects, Mike, that was from the Richmond bench and a lot of the fans that are around the Richmond bench. As I said, with Hawthorn playing across town here, it's actually a pretty pro-Richmond crowd here at Box Hill today.
Yeah, it certainly is. A little light on for Box Hill numbers, certainly not what it would normally be.
Certainly not surprising. And you heard Michael Powell call the free kick for Pitternet there on centre wing. He himself is coming back from an ankle injury that he sustained in the game between Sandringham and Richmond a couple of weeks ago. Second game back for him. The umpire in a number 13 jumper today as the Tigers work across half back. Mirror wins the free kick.
Great tackle.
Very good tackle there on Diggins. Mirror, game 150 today, inside 50. Egmalesi Smith was in front of a double-teamed roughhead. Takes the relieving mark for Richmond from the goal square. We are into time on of this second term. It's a game that's on Richmond's terms, but Box Hill did have a nice little run in the middle of the quarter. Bolter, the right football down the line for Coleman Jones. Giath again gets in the way. Kept in by Morris initially. Ran out of real estate. Boundary throw in.
defensive efforts today, just superb from Chankuth Jayath. Don't know how many smothers, spoils and tackles we've seen from him, but he is having an excellent game. Perhaps a little bit reckless with ball in hand, but a really bright prospect for the Hawthorn Footy Club for the future. As we get another stoppage here. No, a high tackle. Free kick going Richmond's way. That was Steve Morris going to work at ground level and winning himself the free kick. Jayath again. No regard for his safety. Good to see him bounce back up after taking a heavy landing. And even comes in to jump on the tackle. Just for extra effect, but it's going to be a Box Hill free kick. Meadows ball. And he just goes short for Miles. He can chip it over the top. Has Mirror available, and that's where he goes. Mirror wants to give off the handball, and the Hawks are going to go the aggressive route towards goal. Up the corridor. Ball spills out the back. Egg Malesi-Smith has been impenetrable so far, and his pass finds Townsend right half back.
He's had a great game. He looks so at ease at the VFL level, and when he got his chance in the AFL, Egg Malesi-Smith, he looked a player to me, and I think you'll find he will have a very good AFL career down the track.
It's in the hands of Miller at the moment. He goes down the line. Tigers looking to mount another attack here. Collier Dawkins. You can hear the calls of Riley. One of them came from Menadue. Now left half forward into attack he goes, and a good jumping mark taken by Jake Hartz. And he's one that was on Richmond's VFL list, got his chance on the AFL list now, goes back to the man that gave it to him in Menadue. We've seen Dave Mirror, of course, take that same pathway onto an AFL list as well.
Just needs to go back now, set himself.
So Connor Menadue.
Just the breeze just picking up a slight bit at the moment, so I wouldn't be surprised if this does bend a little bit right to left.
Approaching half-time, almost 25 gone. Tigers by 15 before this kick, if he kicks it, which he does. We're back to the quarter-time margin. Tigers by 21 at Box Hill. 8-6-54, Box Hill 5-3-33. We're past the 25-minute mark of the second term.
Just steadied the Tigers. Box Hill had thrown a lot at them in the last 10 to 15 minutes, but a couple of Tigers goals, and they look back on top.
They've kicked two in a row after Matt Walker kicked one for Box Hill at the 17-minute mark of this term.
So for all the work the Hawks have done in this quarter, they kicked 3 goals in a row in the middle of the term. They find themselves down by the same margin by which they trailed at quarter time. And that is 21 points. They'd love to sneak another goal or two before half-time. Approaching 26 minutes gone. Cousins inside forward 50. That's a good mark taken by Ross. In fact, it's Pitternet. Resting forward, takes a good mark.
Yeah, obviously with the options that Box Hill have got in the ruck today, the resting ruckman option is certainly available for Box Hill. And I think you'll see that used pretty much throughout the majority of this game.
Pitternet and Siegler have been on the ground a lot together today.
So for the quick response for Box Hill, Pitternet's kick is across the face of goal and just sneaks in for a behind. Margin back to 20 points.
Igmalesi-Smith has the ball here for Richmond. Their response has been great.
Let's see if he plays on and goes the handball again.
You go by foot. Did escape the confines of the square. Of course, that's a moot point these days. Ball goes out of play. In fact, with these new rules, Healy, the goal square only serves one purpose now, and that's if you take the mark in it.
Basically, that is correct, and yeah, once and just gives you some space when you're bringing the ball in, so that you can't have anybody around you. Just gives you total space to bring the ball back.
So, free kick before the throw-in even occurred here, and Box Hill, they're going to take advantage. Glass gets the long ball inside 50. No mark was taken. Rough head beaten to it by Igmalesi-Smith. He's not going to win that foot race, but he did get a hands on him. Got his hand passed out, did Derek. Box Hill get it back. Golds, little kick in board. Menadue just cut in front of Moore. Hand pass comes back. Now Caulfield. He's pile driven into the turf by Jared Roughhead. That's when the halftime siren went. And we got a free kick potentially here. What's the umpire saying? He's asking for the ball back. A conversation is being had between the umpire and Jacob Townsend. And that will be it. That's half time here at Box Hill City Oval. It's Richmond by 20 points, 8-6-54. Box Hill 5-4-34.
Goal kickers before we go to a break, Adam. Oleg Markov, the leading goal kicker on the ground. He has 3. And singles for Butler, Menadue, Naish, Nankervis and Townsend. And for the Hawks, Matt Walker has a couple. And singles to Taya Miles, Andrew Moore and Jack Ross.
Tigers by 20 over Box Hill here at halftime. We'll take a break and have a look at some of the stats. We're also going to hear during this halftime break from the great Phil Cleary, Vicky Cleary Day at Coburg today. So we'll take a break. It is Richmond by 20 points here on Hard Jacket. Totally Workwear VFL Live.
Nature's an amazing place. It's a perfect balancing act, thriving with life. Some of which we don't even see. Like the billions of microorganisms that help keep nature in balance. At Swiss, the quest continues.
At Totally Workwear, we kit out the brickies, the chippies, the foremen, the tradies. Did we say foremen? They're not all men, some are ladies. Yes! Work in an office, retail, healthcare, hospitality? Here's where you'll find all your workwear. Yeah, totally. Totally Workwear have got you covered with the best brands, best value and best service. Totally Workwear. Get what you want and get back to work. Totally Workwear.
For club interviews and all the news from the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL and Swiss Wellness VFL Women's, don't miss the VFL Hour during the Sporting Capital with Jack Heverin, Tuesdays from 9 p.m. on 1116 SEN.
It's your job. You'll be fine.
Mate, just because everybody seems like they're doing it doesn't actually mean that they are doing it.
Help your kids understand that betting and sport don't have to go together.
The ads don't always tell you the risks, yeah?
Before you have the talk, check lovethegame.vic.gov.au. Authorised by VRGF Melbourne.
Don't miss a moment of the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Find SEN2 on your digital radio today for live coverage of the match of the round. The Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL, live on SEN2 DAB+.
I'm a digital radio. To help explain why it's time to update your old radio, with me is my friend Digital TV.
Hi.
Where you go?
Remember when us TVs went digital?
Everyone does. Get to the point.
Suddenly, you got lots more channels for free.
Yes.
Well, it's the same with digital radio.
When you buy a digital radio, you can get all your favourite stations plus up to 30 extra ones, playing all kinds of music, live sport and talk.
That's pretty great.
It's really great.
All you have to do is head into your nearest retailer
or check out digitalradioplus.com.au
and upgrade to digital.
Your Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL Club needs you to show your support. Buying a VFL Club membership helps support your local team and provides great discounts and match access. The VFL gives you the chance to get in the coaches' huddle and enjoy kick-to-kick on the field, whilst kids under 15 get in free. Get involved in the VFL this season. Head to vfl.com.au/membership to find out what membership offers are available at your club in 2019.
Love your sport? Then you'll love SEN.
Stuart Appleby has come from 7 strokes
And
behind
you'll
us.
find it on digital radio. Simply scroll to SEN, Melbourne's home of sport.
Streaming live through VFL.com.au. This is VFL Live.
It's half time at Box Hill City Oval here today, round 16 action in the Hard Jacket. Totally Workwear VFL Richmond 8-6-54, leading Hawthorn. Now I've done it. Box Hill 5-4-34. Let's have a look at some of the key stat getters. All of this is available on the VFL app, and these stats are provided by Champion Data. Derek Egmalesi Smith is having an outstanding game so far today. He has 19 touches and 7 marks to go with 3 tackles as well. Josh Caddy has 15 for the Tigers, 12 to Paddy Nation, 11 for Ryan Garthwaite. As we go to the Box Hill side of the equation, Taya Miles has 16 touches, 14 of those are kicks. 12 to Luke Meadows, Andrew Moore, they're both on the VFL list, and Dave Mirror has 11 in game number 159 each, all to James Cousins, Connor Glass, Chunkath, Giup and Damien Messiti. That is what is happening here. Let's take a look at what is happening around the grounds. Firstly, I've got an AFL score that is brewing as a major upset out in the MCG. Approaching three-quarter time, Hawthorn 10-11-71, leading Geelong 7-7-49. In fact, they've just ticked over and scored a behind. So 7-8-50, a 21-point lead for Hawthorn. If we know anything about those games, though, it's probably going to go down to the wire. No lead is safe when Geelong faces Hawthorn. In the other games in the VFL, it's a busy, busy day today in rounds at 16. Let's have a look at the scores we have got. So Coburg might be on their way to a win against North Melbourne, although it's only 9 points now. 15-12-102 Coburg leading the Kangaroos 14-9-93. We are halfway into the final term as well at Kramer Street, just down the road from Coburg City Oval, and Wayward Williamstown is leading the Northern Blues 6-20. 56 to the Northern Blues. 6-7-43 at Skybus Stadium. It's a long second quarter. That quarter's still going between Frankston and Collingwood. Low-scoring affair, 5-5-35. Collingwood leading Frankston 4-3-27. And the game earlier today that is now complete. Footscray recording another win against Sandringham. 13-17-95. The Zebras 8-10-58. Yesterday, a 9-point win for Geelong over the Casey Demons. That one was at Casey Fields. And on the other side of the bay at Avalon Airport Oval, Werribee 15-10-100. Too good for Port Melbourne at 10-13-73. Here, it is Richmond 8-6-54 leading Box Hill 5-4-34. Let's go to our halftime interview from the VFL Hour on 11:16 SEN. It's none other than Phil Cleary, who this week was speaking to Sam Hargraves on the VFL Hour. It's Vicky Cleary Day over at Coburg, and the Lions do look like they might be on their way to their third win of the season. Let's throw to that now. When we come back, we'll be getting ready for the second half here between Richmond and Box Hill, where the Tigers lead by 20. Here is the great Phil Cleary.
With great pleasure that we introduce this man, an absolute legend of the Coburg Footy Club. He was a premiership player there when they were in the VFA in 1979. He kicked 317 goals for them in 205 games, and of course an integral part of VFL coverage for many, many years on the ABC with our very own Peter Donegan. I speak, of course, of Phil Cleary, who's got a big weekend coming up this weekend and has been good enough to join us on the VFL Hour. Hello, Mr. Cleary.
Hey, g'day there, Sam. How are you? It's Sam, isn't it, I'm talking with?
It is. It's Sam and Anthony Stangett's here, Phil.
Yes, Anthony, yes. No, great to talk with you. How you going?
Good. Welcome to the show, Phil. This weekend, Vicky Cleary Day. It must really warm your heart how much Coburg, your former club, or still current club in your heart, get behind the event, and also the government have supported this over recent years.
Yeah, well, look, it's the third year, and Respect Victoria and Family Safety Victoria are sponsoring and supporting the day, and there's no real day like this in the sporting calendar. Carlton has Carlton Respects, but this is a day dedicated in the name of a particular woman who was murdered by an ex-boyfriend, and is a day that pays homage and celebrates the lives of all the women we've lost. And for some men, that's a tricky business. There are, of course, men out there who don't necessarily gravitate to the question of violence against women or find excuses. But so it's really important that the football community acknowledges its support and makes no excuses for the kind of violence that we've seen escalate or appear to escalate in the community In recent times, we don't have all the data on it, but we know that around 60 women a year are murdered in the way that my sister was back in 1987. And so it's important for people to reflect on it, discuss it, and celebrate those women. And it's great that it's at the Coburg Football Ground, where my sister was a Coburg supporter and a Coburg girl.
Phil, the moment of silence that you have prior to the game, you yourself in previous years has spoken to the crowd, and then it's a moment of silence. I've been there on the occasions in previous years, and it is spine-tingling, that moment of silence, and gives the crowd that opportunity to really think about the prevention of violence against women.
Look, that's really true, and I'm moved by the moment. I mean, I have to control myself, and I try to deliver a measured and thoughtful speech, but it is really powerful, the moment. And I do always say that, Vicky was there with me when I played my 200th game in 1987 in June against Frankston, and she wasn't with us when we won the premiership in 88 and 89 at Windy Hill, because she'd been murdered on the 26th of August 1987. But, it's kind of interesting too, and I've mentioned this before, and I spoke to Peter Donegan about it, and elsewhere, that before the game, before the grand final in 88, I made mention of Vicky to the players in a sensitive way, and not too demanding of the players. And I pointed out that, this was a year after we'd lost Vicky, and it would be great to win, just to ease the burden of 12 months of pain and a committal hearing, and there was a trial pending. So here we are, after all those years, back at Coburg. The memory of Vicky is really powerful, and it's a tribute to her as a person. I mean, people loved her. She was a great character. She full of life. She was a terrific athlete in her time. She could run and laugh, and she made us all happy. She was Mum's first girl after 4 boys, one of whom had died about a day or two old, and so it was a pretty significant event. It hurt my family. It hurt my mum and dad, of course, immeasurably. And so, on Sunday we'll remember Vicky, and we'll try to construct our thinking around the prevention, as you point out.
Well, I'm sure that you and the club and North Melbourne as well, and everybody that heads out there will do the utmost to honour her memory, Phil, and it's the 32nd anniversary of Vicky's death, and the club is just hoping to get everybody together to come and pay tribute, not just to the life of Vicky Cleary, but also to the many women who have been impacted by family and domestic violence. And we want to end it. We must end violence against women together. Phil, it's a very powerful message and a very positive one that you're putting forward, and we thank you for sharing with us on the VFL Hour.
Yeah, good on you, boys. Great to talk. Thank you very much. Bye then.
The legendary Phil Cleary. So if you want to get involved, make sure you do head out to Piranha Park on Sunday, 21st of July. Vicky Cleary Day. It's just a gold coin donation when you enter. All donations go to Coburg's continual campaign to end violence against women. It was great to chat to Phil, and it's an incredibly important cause, and we can never do too much to try and end what is just an aberration on our society. So Anthony, well done on getting Phil on, and well done for your support on that, and well done on another episode of the VFL Hour.
Thank you very much, Sam, and it's great Coburg gets behind it each year, and Phil's a champion of it. It starts conversations, and it's conversations that really need to be had. So well done to Phil and the club for supporting that cause.
We thank Phil Cleary for coming onto the VFL Hour with Sam Hargraves and Anthony Stang. It's obviously a very important societal issue that Phil Cleary has been fighting for such a long time now. It's a big day at Coburg, and well, it was a huge grandstand finish in this round 16 clash at Piranha Park, and they could not hold on the Lions. It was an entertaining game, but North Melbourne have kicked a couple of goals very late in the contest. Murphy and Davis and Tristan Sherry kicking goals late for the Kangaroos, and they have ended up stealing victory from the Lions. 16-9, 105 North Melbourne. Coburg going down 15-12, 102. We'll take a break here at Box Hill City Oval. Michael Pippicelli resting the vocals, and Glenn Hill just hanging around the back of the box at the moment. He'll be back on the boundary line for the second half. Third quarter after this, with Richmond starting 20 points ahead of Box Hill.
Amazing place. It's a perfect balancing act, thriving with life. Some of which we don't even see. Like the billions of microorganisms that help keep nature in balance. At Swiss, the quest continues.
At Totally Workwear, we kit out the brickies, the chippies, the foremen, the tradies. Did we say foremen? They're not all men, some are ladies. Yes! Work in an office, retail, healthcare, hospitality? Here's where you'll find all your workwear. Yeah, totally. Totally Workwear have got you covered with the best brands, best value and best service. Totally Workwear. Get what you want and get back to work.
For club interviews and all the news from the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL and Swiss Wellness VFL Women's, don't miss the VFL Hour during the Sporting Capital with Jack Heverin, Tuesdays from 9 p.m. on 1116 SEN.
But it's your job. You'll be fine.
Mate, just because everybody seems like they're doing it, doesn't actually mean that they are doing it.
Help your kids understand that betting and sport don't have to go together.
The ads don't always tell you the risks, yeah?
Before you have the talk, check lovethegame.vic.gov.au. Authorised by VRGF Melbourne.
Don't miss a moment of the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Find SEN2 on your digital radio today for live coverage of the match of the round. The Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL, live on SEN2 DAB+.
I'm a digital radio. To help explain why it's time to update your old radio, with me is my friend Digital TV.
Hi.
Where you go?
Remember when us TVs went digital?
Everyone does. Get to the point.
Suddenly, you got lots more channels for free.
Yes.
Well, it's the same with digital radio.
When you buy a digital radio, you can get all your favourite stations, plus up to 30 extra ones, playing all kinds of music, live sport and talk.
That's pretty great.
It's really great.
All you have to do is head into your nearest retailer.
Or check out digitalradioplus.com.au.
And upgrade to digital.
Your Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL club needs you to show your support. Buying a VFL club membership helps support your local team and provides great discounts and match access. The VFL gives you the chance to get in the coaches' huddle and enjoy kick-to-kick on the field, whilst kids under 15 get in free. Get involved in the VFL this season. Head to vfl.com.au/membership to find out what membership offers are available at your club in 2019.
Love your sport? Then you'll love SEN.
Stuart Appleby has come from 7 strokes
And you'll find it on digital radio. Simply scroll to SEN, Melbourne's home of sport.
Streaming live through VFL.com.au. This is VFL Live.
The Box Hill Hawks and Richmond are back out on the park here at Box Hill City Oval. The Tigers 8-6-54. They lead Box Hill 5-4-34. Adam Sarikoglu, Michael Pepichelli and Glenn Hill are your commentators today. Hilly boundary side. The shadows just creeping a little longer here as we speak. But one of those perfect days for football. No wins at all. We're getting a good game of footy as a result.
Yeah, we certainly are. It's been a great game of footy so far, and I think Box Hill will come out firing here after half-time. Down, they're a fighting team, they always have been, and it'd be interesting to see how the second half plays out with, I think, both teams going to manage some minutes with some of their more senior players who are looking to go back up into the AFL. So just keep an eye on Nan Curvis in particular from the Tigers. Not sure he'd be playing a full game today.
Looks like it will be Callum Coleman-Jones to start in the middle for the Tigers. Looks like he'll be taking on Jonathan Singler, although Jared Roughhead starting in the middle as well. Did we see that a couple of times 2 weeks ago, Michael? I reckon we did. Roughhead in the starting 4 in the middle.
We did see that a couple of times. It's been a move Alistair Clarkson has gone to in critical moments over the years, and something Max Bailey is clearly not afraid to use either here at Box Hill.
Well, this could be an instruction from Clarko, of course.
Could be.
That man's having a good day, by the way, at the MCG. There's an upset brewing. As we take a look at the scores in that game, three-quarter time, 10-11-71. Hawthorn, 19-point lead over the Cats, 7-10. 52. Second half underway here. Richmond leads by 20.
They do, and the umpire's throwing it up now in the middle, and Coleman Jones, silver service for Butler. The Tigers go inside 50 to start the second half. Free kick for a push, going Box Hill's way. It'll be Caden Brand's ball. Goes short, and short ball once again. The mark is taken by Moore. In fact, it's Taya Miles inside defensive 50. Doesn't have any short options, so just pops it long up the line. Walker flew, but he was underneath it. Box Hill able to work it forward by hand here. Walker goes again. Here is Roughhead. Starting in the middle, as you heard, and now ball towards half forward. Aducci able to gather the half volley, but disappointing result with the money kick inside forward 50. Morris in the path, and now the Tigers away. Butler sees off one tackler, fends off a second. Can he get around a third as well? Not quite. Holding the ball, free kick goes Box Hill's way.
The first two don't argues weren't too bad for Dan Butler. The third one was where it came unstuck. So Mirror, he'll go over the top. Mark taken by Walker. That's Lockie Walker for Box Hill. Sends it on the left foot, just at the edge of 50. Segler arrived very late. Pitnet was involved in the contest as well. The umpire spotted a free kick going Richmond's way.
Holding the ball.
Miller. Does he switch? He wants to. There's no obvious target to go to on the switch, so he goes down the line. It's the safer bet, but he coughs it up. I suppose better there than in scoring range. Walker's kicking board is awkward. Just bounces away there from Greaves, eventually picked up by Cousins. Little give there was good for Roughhead. Inside 50 we go for Box Hill. It's a bouncing ball for Aducci. Picks up now, has Morris for company. Concedes a lot of ground. That's okay though. It's back in the hands of Damon Greaves. The right foot ball to the hot spot. Jared Roughhead's going to launch. Just from the back though, couldn't get to it in time. Does Caddy keep it in? Didn't want to. Boundary throw in.
Thought about keeping it in for a moment, did Caddy, but thought better of it when he realised he had Tom Maloney bearing down on him. Not a good place for a defender to be. And we get a boundary throw in inside forward 50 for the Hawks. Taken by Moore. He was dispossessed. Still going Box Hill, but eventually the Tigers able to clear. Jayeth leads the race for this one. He's dumped though by Arts illegally, says the umpire.
That's a poor decision. That really wasn't a sling tackle.
That was right in front of you, Glenn Hill.
It's just a well-executed tackle. He actually protected the player. Didn't ram his head or anything like that into the ground. Really poor decision.
Jayeth drives it inside forward 50. Segler was charging towards it, but Garthwaite was in front and did well. Thumped it outside defensive 50, but it's coming straight back. Good forward pressure by the Hawks as Greaves finds Brand. Between half forward and wing. Wants to go quickly. Has numbers in board. One of those is Miles. He's a good ball user. Can he spot up a target? Yes, but still too far out to score. Walker, Mirror, and that's better. Aducci takes the mark. So it was labour intensive, but eventually the Hawks able to find an effective forward 50 entry. And Vince Aducci can go back to kick the first of the second half for the Hawks. Just the 2 goals won for the season from his 5 games. From 48, it's not going to make the distance, all the tall timber with the Tigers. And eventually they rush it through. 19-point lead now for Richmond. 4.5 minutes gone, third term.
DES to bring it in. Menadue takes the mark. Now Caddy. Underground handball's good for Silvestro, but it just pinked off his chest and Had to go for a second effort. That's when the pressure arrived. But Richmond have done well, all by hand to get it to the wing. Menadue's kick over the top now. Collier Dawkins marks and keeps on running. Just had Mercedes wrong-footed. Inside 50. A great passage, but it's a push. Is there a free kick? No. Boundary throw in.
Thought there might have been one there, Adam, for a push, but the umpire said no.
They're in attack here, the Tigers, looking to extend their lead. Game that's largely been on their own terms. Umpire brings it in. Coates in the ruck here against Pitnet, who won it down. Ball cleared out by Ross, and Roughhead takes the mark. Jared Roughhead, over the top he goes. Garthwaite, not a great kick by Ruffy. And Garthwaite gets in the hole and draws the applause from his fans right behind the Richmond bench.
He started the third term well, has Garthwaite. Egmalesi-Smith kick, makes Caulfield work. Aducci with the pressure, turns it over now. Walker, his handball though intercepted. Crucial tackle laid by Caulfield, and Naish able to clear. Tigers out of danger and almost into attack. They need to do some work here. Handball comes out to English. His hands were quick. They needed to be. Street, this way, that way, pops it up high. Who's the target? Caddy's there. Thumped away from him. And the Box Hill defence holding on. Quick snap comes though, and it cannons into the post. Tigers get out of jail there. The margin back to 20 points. 8-7, plays 5-5.
Mercedes quickly brought it in, found Mirror, then the hand pass off, and they've got it all the way to the centre of the ground here. Box Hill by hand. Glass, the little kick. Just not getting anywhere near Aducci in the end, and Deegans fumbles. That allows Walker back into the contest. Did well to regather. Hand pass out. Now to kick from Caulfield down the line. That's good. Collier Dawkins has it for Richmond. Roughhead getting out of the protected area in front of Glen Hill. Collier Dawkins kicks in front of the main grandstand here at Box Hill. Going up, Mercedes affecting the contest. And it's out of bounds for a boundary throw in as the Tigers make a couple changes. Brewer and Nelson back out onto the ground for Richmond. Ball thrown in between the two gates here. 20-point lead in favour of the Tigers. Umpire brings it in. Segler on the tap. Brewer almost brought down by Glass. Just got his hand pass out in time. It's hacked toward half forward for Richmond. Brand gets it back for Box Hill. Hand pass off to Golds. He goes down the line. Segler couldn't mark. Ground level ball here. Tigers regain. Morris receives the handball from Caddy. Sends a high one toward 50. Brand is in position A for Box Hill.
Camped underneath that one, and he and Jaif worked that out well, communicated well, did the teammates, and Jaif called in Brand to take it. Still have it at half back to the Hawks. Eventually the high ball comes to Segler on the wing. Coleman Jones matched up against him, did well to get it to ground, but Segler was better at ground level, and now Jaif turns it over with the ill-directed pass. Brewer has it, and now Collier Dawkins wants to move it on quickly. Bolter can do anything. Kicks it over the head, though, of Street. And Box Hill able to repel. Ross has it on the outer side. Has Pitnet long up the line in a one-on-one with Garthwaite if he wants, but instead bites off the difficult kick. The Hawks want to play direct footy. Glass gives it off. Gold's now at the edge of the centre square. Wrong foot Brewer sends it long. Who's in the goal square? It doesn't matter. It has the distance, but not the direction. Box Hill have really opened things up here in this second half, but yet to get it going on the scoreboard. 5-6-36, plays 8-7-55.
Noel Bolter has the ball for the Tigers. Will come to this near side of the ground, goes short to Garthwaite. No 15, Garthwaite continues. High ball to the wing. Look for Kaczynski to affect the contest. At the fall is Miles, hand pass off. Mercedes, back to Miles. Now behind true centre wing. Has a man loose at true centre half back. Mark taken by Mirror. Box Hill going with the switch toward the outer side. Aducci now in the chain has it. Beside the centre square. Sends Box Hill into attack. Garthwaite with the fist over the top of Roughhead. Now wrapped up is Lockie Walker. Then Scowen won it back. Rough head, standing start. Chips over the top toward the pocket. Igmalesi Smith did well in flight. Still a Box Hill ball though. Coates gets in the way for Richmond. Igmalesi Smith hadn't lost it. Hard ball to win here for the Tigers. Morris found some space. They worked it out well in the end, Richmond. Kick toward the outer wing. It's coming back in. Good mark by Mirror. Came down a little heavily. Brand. Hand pass off. Box Hill want to switch. They will. Kazitsky. Quick hands off. Brand's over the top. Now it's in the hands of Greaves.
Has it in the centre square. Has Miles calling for it short. And that's where he goes. Plays on, does Miles. Walker at the front, but Pittonet at the back. Neither of them could mark it.
Walker saw.
I think Walker's hurt himself here in that
Richmond
contest.
defence does well. Play goes on. We'll keep an eye on Matt Walker.
Lower leg.
Yeah.
Free kick. Richmond takes advantage though, and they'll live to regret that decision. No, pushing the back free kick. Brewer gets out of jail as Walker is attended to now by a couple of trainers.
Left knee and it's already taped up.
He's not making any moves to come off the ground, but as he said, it doesn't look great for him at the moment. Meanwhile, the Tigers have it at left half back. Naish sends it long and high, just wants to clear defensive 50. Coates impacted the contest at the front, but that's a high tackle. And that'll be Miles's ball. He goes short. The Hawks are really looking to switch in this third term. Mirror, that's a risky one. Silvestro bearing down on Kazitsky, but the ladder up to the task, and now they have a loose man. It's Horner, and now Aducci on centre wing.
Staying out there is Matt Walker. The two trainers that were attending to him now making their way off the ground. Does offer a lead, in fact. Aducci, it is coming Walker's way. Going up though, Pittonet took it uncontested in the end. The ball might have just held dead in flight. Hand pass off. Greaves goes inside 50. Rough head one-on-one with Bolter. Morris, the third man back for Richmond. Picked up the bouncing ball. Hand pass to Naish. Further on, he goes to Streets. Tigers out of danger. Left foot over the top. One-on-one. Mirror did well. He's having a good day, Dave Mirror. Here's Brewer. The previous ball. Umpire getting some advice. I think that came through the effects, Mike. Sorry for the language. Free kick for the Tigers to be taken by Townsend.
Has it at half back, and he just pokes it short to Naish. Tigers happy to play the slow game for the time being. They know that they don't have the momentum in this game. That kick wasn't the required distance from Brewer. He gets it back, and now he'll concede 30 metres to Igmalesi Smith, and the Tigers can reload. Miller now still inside defensive 50, has Diggins on wide, and that's where he goes, in front of our commentary position. The kick makes its way to Caddy on the bounce. No one comes at Caddy. Eventually Pittonet corrals him, grabs him, and grabs him high.
Another poor decision from the umpire.
Another situation, Hilly, in which the umpire might have been blindsided. Pittonet grabbed the jumper firmly in the chest.
Like he just guessed a little bit there, the umpire.
In fact, it might be a downfield.
Yeah,
free.
I reckon there was a previous whistle before the umpire in the number 7 shirt blew the whistle for the free kick we all thought that Caddy was going to get.
It is a downhill.
I reckon there was another infringement.
So it was Butler's ball. He gave it off to Naish, and great lead from Menadue, and the pass was equally as brilliant.
Yeah, I remember hearing a whistle before we saw that contest in front of you, Hilly, and that's what the free kick was for in the end.
So bizarre scenes here at Box Hill City Oval, but a chance for Richmond to capitalise on their good luck. Menadue to have the shot at goal. Tight angle. And he'll have to kick it all of 50 metres. Kick on its way. Got it. The Tigers get a much-needed goal, and they get a little bit of breathing space as well. 9-7-61. Box Hill 5-6-36.
Yes, they get that little bit of space on the scoreboard. It certainly sets up well for them now. 4-goal lead.
That's Menadue's second.
They've been the dominant team today in terms of ball movement, pressure. Certainly been the better team. And Box Hill have hung in there deep into this game, so let's see if they can get the reply, quick reply.
Third final score of the day has come through from Karama Street. Williamstown 8-22-72 good for the Northern Blues, 7-7-49. Next week here on VFL Live, we'll see North Melbourne host the Northern Blues at Arden Street. Segler got the clearance, but a juggling mark by Morris. Turning back the clock as he goes over the top. Coleman Jones back to Morris. Handball happy today, Richmond. Caddy, and here's good weather for it. Gives it back by hand to Morris, and a great little pass for Oleg Markov. Can go back and kick his fourth. Playing good footy today, Richmond. 11-2 for their season. As long as they don't lose here today, they will be on top of the ladder at the end of round 16. Looks like the minor premiership is between them and the Bombers. They might be playing off of that minor premiership in the final round at Windsor Hill. Big goal from Oleg Markov. 4 for him, 10 for Richmond. 10-7-67, Box Hill, 5-6-36. The margin's 31 points, and the Tigers are making good use of the scoring end in the third quarter.
He's had such an impact on the game, has Markov. Hit the scoreboard, seeing plenty of possessions around the ground. It's having a fantastic game.
Close game around the grounds at Skybus Stadium. Collingwood 6-6-42, leading Frankston 5-5-35. That's 9 minutes into the third quarter there.
So that's 4 goals now for Oleg Markov and 10 for Richmond. That margin now 31 points. They've had all the answers so far today, Richmond, when Box Hill is challenged. But now the Hawks need to lay down another challenge. But the Tigers, I should say, go inside 50 once again. Brand first to it, keeps it in. And it works out okay because Greaves receives a handball and sends it long up the line. But camped underneath it for Richmond is Townsend, and he takes the mark. In fact, that might have been Diggins. It was, and he sends it inside 50. Mark taken by a Box Hill defender, but it's going to be a free kick anyway for a block in the marking contest. And that'll be Brand's ball, and he brings it out wide now for Horner. Has it at right half back, and he just chips it over the top to Moore.
He's going to be asked to play on the Box Hill skipper. The short pass is okay for Mirror. It's been solid across half back today as he goes back to Moore. Now Miles. Kicked Box Hill's first goal of the game. Off the ground goes Noah Bolter. He is an interesting player, and he made an interesting decision there. Mirror regains for Box Hill. Greaves over the top. Trying to run onto it there was Meadows. Egmalesi Smith escapes one potential tackler. Hand pass to Miller. Now it's in the hands of Naish. Goes inboard by Ham. Richmond trying to find an opening. Diggins is going to be brought out just beside the centre square. Umpire crosses his arms. So here it's Richmond by 31. At Skybus, it's Collingwood by 7. In the final 2 games of round 16 in the hard jacket, Totally Workwear VFL. Greaves will run onto the handball there from Segler. Just a bit too big though for Nanskoen. Socket off the ground by Morris, similar to the one we saw from Noah Bolter moments earlier. Ball's up for grabs here near the boundary line. Richmond maintain possession. Brewer just over his head. Nanskoen there to tackle him. Hand pass came to Nelson. Can't find a way through at the moment, Richmond. Naish just bombs away, and Giath was in the right spot to take the mark for Box Hill.
Goes short, dangerous kick though. Markov there to cut it off. He gets it to ground, turns around, snaps. Silvestro all on his own, and they make the Hawks pay. Markov has been an absolute live wire inside forward 50 this afternoon. 4 goals, 1 goal assist. And now the Richmond lead out to 37 points.
That's a game-high lead for the Tigers.
And it's just starting to get to that stage where it's a little insurmountable. I think Box Hill are going to struggle to peg the Tigers back today. They've been switched on from the word go. Probably should be a goal or two further in front, in fact. And they have been the better team so far today.
Just poor decision-making in the back half of the ground there by Box Hill, and Richmond capitalised. That's why coaches really hate the ball even potentially being turned over in scoring range, because so many goals are generated from turnover. Siegler out of the ruck, and he just blazes away to the top of the square. Bolter didn't have enough of it for the umpire to pay the mark in the marking contest against Matt Walker, and he was caught behind as well. Now Arts, Richmond again using the outer side. That's a good kick for Menadue.
Just an update on Nankervis as well. He definitely managed for the remainder of the game.
Haven't seen him out there at all really in this third quarter.
I don't think you'll see him again today.
Silvestro going inside 50, and Coleman Jones, he's got a lot of work on his plate now with Nankervis on the sidelines. The snap on goal here, Nelson. Roughhead was in the goal square for Box Hill. Saved the day, did Ruffy, as he so often has for the Hawks, and now Cousins. Working it by hand, Box Hill at the moment. Mercedes' little kick. It took a bounce on the way through. Moore goes out wide. That's okay for Walker. Matt Walker had a knee complaint earlier in the quarter. There's 2 goals to his name today, both in the second quarter. Goes down the line. Big fist from Ryan Garthwaite. You heard that in the effects, Mike, and it goes all the way out of bounds. Boundary throw in. That's the spoil of the day, that one.
That's a 25-metre spoil. Fantastic spoil.
Around the grounds, Hawks are holding on against the Cats. At the MCG, they lead by 3 straight kicks, and that should be enough with 1:17 on the clock. Upset at the G.
Into time on third term here at Box Hill City Oval. The Hawks have a lot of work to do. They'd love to kick a couple to make it manageable heading into three-quarter time. Glass's kick is a good one. It bounces in the goal square. The bounce sat up okay for Walker. He was taken down in the back. And he'll have a free kick in scoring position. Tight angle, but point-blank range. He'll be kicking for goal number 3. Can run around onto the left, or can go the right foot banana.
We've both set shots here from this range early today. Both missed to the near side, Michael.
1 banana and 1 drop punt we've seen from this spot. This one's another banana, and that one's executed nicely. Box Hill not going away without a fight. They're 6-6-42. Richmond 11-7-73.
This game seems to be far more open than the one we're getting at Skybus Stadium at the moment. Collingwood 6-8-44 over Frankston 5-6-36. It's great to see the Dolphins so much more competitive this year. I know they're still languishing at the bottom of the table, but pushed the Premiers to 15 points last week at home as well, did the Dolphins. And they're making life hard for Collingwood today. Around the grounds, another goal. Looks like Mitch Lewis has kicked the winner for Hawthorn, and they're on their way to a 4-goal win over the Cats at the G. Guess we'll soon be welcoming a lot more audience to watch these Box Hill Hawks, see if they can mount a comeback against Richmond. We're back in the middle, back live. It's a soggy centre wicket area. That's where the tackle was laid by Coleman Jones. Box Hill maintain possession. Good tackle there by Igmalesi Smith to hold things up on the outer wing. And we have a ball up. As a Mitch Lewis come on for Hawthorn. Spent a lot of time here at Box Hill. Kicked 3 goals at the G today in what is about to become a 4-goal win for Hawthorn. Of course, Jarman Impey has gone down with what looks like a serious knee injury, and that's going to obviously have an effect on this Box Hill team as well. Richmond ball inside defensive 50. Bolter, hand pass off. This is Naish. Little right foot ball toward the wing. The fist there came from Horner. Jumper held. Which way though? Thought both jumpers were held. Free kick will go Lockie Street's way.
Has it on centre wing. In no rush to move it on. Naish calling for it short.
Final siren at the G. Hawthorn win by 24.
Naish right in front of the Richmond bench. just sets it up and hopes for the best. Coleman Jones doing the roving that time. Good front and square, but the kick left a bit to be desired. It bounces out of bounds. 31-point lead for the Tigers. 11-7-73, plays 6-6-42 in round 16 on Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL Live. Glad to have your company. VFL.com.au and SEN2 as well for our audio listeners. Butler dragged off his kick but bounces it towards the goal square. Takes a turn for the boundary line though. 25 minutes gone in this third term. Around the grounds, Collingwood leading the Dolphins by 8 points over at Skybus Stadium. I dare say it's probably a little bit breezier than it is here, Adam, as the Hawks able to clear defensive 50. Segler in a one-on-one, does well with the reach, can't bring it in though. Walker a chance at the back, gets boot to ball just. Great tackle there for the Tigers by Morris, and that affects the turnover. Going inside forward 50 now, Markov with Mirror, Butler, Soccer, goal.
Second one today.
Dan Butler doing it with his feet this afternoon. Very impressive finish. And that margin now back out to 37 points, that game-high margin. 12-7-79, plays 6-6-42.
He's been really impressive today, Dan Butler, providing a lot of run off half-back and also hitting the scoreboard. He's been a great link player for the Tigers today.
That was his 9th touch of the day. 2 goals, both soccer style. One was a back heel and the other one was from just outside the box. Keeper had no chance in both. Umpire throws it up, back in the middle. Won't be any bouncing with that soggy centre wicket today here at Box Hill as Glass lays the tackle, and we've got a secondary ball up as Josh Caddy will give the ball back to the umpire. Still inside the centre square. Coates in the ruck at the moment for Richmond. He'll combine with Cal Coleman Jones for the rest of the day. Townsend put into the turf. Or the mud. Another ball up, and that's the 3/4 time siren. Richmond still in control here. It was a very good third term for the Tigers, and they lead 12-7-79. Box Hill 6-6-42. Pretty short quarter that one, only 27 minutes.
Oleg Markov has been terrific, Adam. He leads the Tigers with 4 goals, and Butler and Menadue each have 2, and singles to Naish, Nankervis, Silvestro and Townsend. And for the Hawks, Matt Walker has 3, and singles to Taya Miles, Andrew Moore and Jack Ross. So at 3/4 time here at Box Hill City Oval, it's Richmond by 37 points. 4th term coming up after this.
At Totally Workwear, we kit out the brickies, the chippies, the foremen, the tradies. Did we say foremen? They're not all men, some are ladies. Yes! Work in an office, retail, healthcare, hospitality? Here's where you'll find all your workwear. Yeah, totally. Totally Workwear have got you covered with the best brands, best value and best service. Totally Workwear. Get what you want and get back to work. Totally Workwear.
Nature's an amazing place. It's a perfect balancing act, thriving with life. Some of which we don't even see. Like the billions of microorganisms that help keep nature in balance. At Swiss, the quest continues.
Your Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL Club needs you to show your support. Buying a VFL Club membership helps support your local team and provides great discounts and match access. The VFL gives you the chance to get in the coaches huddle and enjoy kick-to-kick on the field, whilst kids under 15 get in free. Get involved in the VFL this season. Head to vfl.com.au/membership to find out what membership offers are available at your club in 2019.
I'm a digital radio.
And I'm a digital TV. Now, you may remember when TV went digital.
Yes, and you got a lot more channels and a better picture.
Well, buying a digital radio is the same.
Exactly. I've got up to 30 extra radio stations, plus all your old faves, and I sound amazing.
Yeah, but I look amazing.
Yeah, but this is a radio ad, so no one can see you.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to hear this station like you have never heard it before,
buy a digital radio.
Head into your nearest retailer and upgrade to digital.
For club interviews and all the news from the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL and Swiss Wellness VFL Women's, don't miss the VFL Hour during the Sporting Capital with Jack Heverin, Tuesdays from 9 p.m. on 1116 SEN.
But it's your job. We'll be fine.
Mate, just because everybody seems like they're doing it doesn't actually mean that they are doing it.
Help your kids understand that betting and sport don't have to go together.
The ads don't always tell you the risks, yeah?
Before you have the talk, check lovethegame.vic.gov.au. Authorised by VRGF Melbourne.
Don't miss a moment of the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Find SEN2 on your digital radio today for live coverage of the match of the round. The Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Live on SEN2 DAB+.
Love your sport? Then you'll love SEN.
Looks to be the last game of the first set. Almagro leading 5-3.
And you'll find it on digital radio. Simply scroll to SEN, Melbourne's home of sport.
Streaming live through VFL.com.au. This is VFL Live.
3 quarters down and one to go here at Box Hill City Oval, and Richmond in the box seat to not only win but claim top spot on the ladder at the end of round 16. 12-7, 79 they lead Box Hill, 6-6, 42, and it's a very healthy crowd that's gathered around Craig McRae's huddle. A lot of Richmond fans here today enjoying what their VFL Tigers are dishing up against the reigning premiers. Tigers by 37, that's the most important number. Michael Peppercelli has some other numbers to 3/4 time on the VFL app.
Certainly do, Adam. Derek Egmalesi-Smith is the leading disposal winner for those Tigers. He has 23 disposals. He's been prolific as he's come back to the VFL after a couple of weeks at AFL level. Pat Nash also has 23 disposals, 19 of those kicks, and Caddy rounds out the top 3 for the Tigers with 18. As we have a look at the Box Hill Hawks, Taya Miles and Andrew Moore both leading the way with 24 disposals apiece. They've both kicked a goal as well. And after them, it's James Cousins and Dave Mirror, both with 19. Mirror, the milestone man, is having himself a pretty good game.
It's been pretty important for the Box Hill Hawks across half-back. Without his influence, I dare say this game would be, well, if it's not already over, it would be well and truly over. One other game is taking place around the grounds, and it's a pretty close one at Skybus Stadium between Frankston and Collingwood. 5-7-37, the Dolphins trailing Collingwood 6-9-45. 4 goals for Sam Glover, singles for Tim Broomhead and Adam Oxley for Collingwood. Cox has 2, and we're told a pretty good mark. Hoping thumbs up, thumbs down. If we've got footage of it, it will be on the socials soon enough. Keep an eye on the VFL socials at VFL if you want to take a look at the Mitch Cox mark. It's one of the great marks, we're told, so big build-up.
That's what we're hearing.
It's a big build-up. I'm just hoping the final result actually delivers. Anthony Stankitt's is giving us the thumbs up. Singles for Will Fordham, Miller and Rich for the Dolphins. I'm just looking for Glenn Hill. The Box Hill huddle has dispersed. I can't see Hilly. Max Bailey giving out some last-minute instructions to Will Golds.
It's a bit hard to get Max over that
Yeah,
soft
too
ground,
far away, I think, Hilly.
unfortunately today. But
second crack at McRae, maybe, or
no, he's certainly looking at still finishing strong here. Obviously, they're a little outplayed and feeling a little bit overwhelmed at the moment. But certainly look for them to give a spirited last quarter.
So all set to go here for the final term. Richmond's is in the box seat to claim win number 12 of the season. Box Hill there. Top 4 hopes are slowly slipping away, but as we know, that doesn't necessarily always matter here in the VFL. Box Hill won the flag last year despite not really being the most impressive team in the home and away season. And all they need to do is get into the postseason and anything can happen. They've been there and done that before. The Box Hill Hawks, the Tigers, as we know, they went oh so close to winning the flag 2 years ago. It was a great week for the Tigers. As we know, they won the AFL flag 6 days later, but the shot after the siren that was about 60 out, I think it was Lloyd that had the shot and missed. And Port Melbourne held on to win the premiership that day at Marvel Stadium. The spectators are off the grand final term. Is about to get underway here with the Tigers up by 37.
So the Tigers looking to find themselves on top of the hard yakka totally workwear VFL ladder after round 16 if they can hold on here. But what do the Box Hill Hawks have in store? They need to kick goals quickly, and Roughhead starts in the middle. Got the first touch but couldn't do anything effective with it. Coleman Jones picked it up and put it on the boot. And Bolter marks out in front of Mercedes. He's been moved forward, has Noah Bolter. This kick probably not beyond his range. He's going to unload. It's going to fall short, drops at the top of the square. Coleman Jones thought he was being held. Umpire saw it differently, so play goes on. Overrunning it here was Caulfield. Now a chance for English. He's taken down. Gold's fighting the good fight for Box Hill. He'll get it back here, will Golds. Needs to be quick with the hands and ears. To his fellow draft mate, Kajitsky. Now a chance. Cousins over the top to Pitternet. And he has it between wing and half forward. Happy to slow it down is the big ruckman. Tigers have got numbers back. He goes for Walker in a one-on-one, and the ball gets to the back. It's kept in fact, by a Box Hill forward. Moore tries to draw the high free kick. None forthcoming, and now we get a stoppage.
It's a fine day for Sunday football here at Box Hill. Umpire throws it up in front of the main balcony. It's a great viewing position. Mark taken here by English. The Tigers will be out of danger. If they can restrict Box Hill from scoring goals early in this final term, that should be enough to claim victory. They'll be the first team in the VFL this season to get to 12 wins. Mark taken here by Segler. And he'll go inboard. That's okay. Glass. Hand pass off, and Greaves gives it to Miles. Little chip, and Walker takes the mark. He's been good today, Matt Walker. Can go back and kick his fourth. He'll draw level with Oleg Markov for goal kicking if he does kick this. And to keep Box Hill in it. Margin will be 31 if he can convert. Matt Walker, it's a careful approach, directly in front. Kicks from just inside 50, right foot. Looked like he did hook it off the boot, and it's a minor score. 6-7-43 Box Hill. Richmond 12-7-79. Your margin is 6 straight kicks.
Egmalesi Smith to take the kick in for Richmond. Just goes short to the pocket for Coleman Jones, who wants to go immediately and does. Tigers have it now. Townsend. Menadue and Silvestro couldn't work it out between them, and that allowed Giath to intercept. Now Moore sends it long to the pocket, and a good mark taken at the back by Pitternet. He had the reach.
This is probably not his forte, Mark Pitternet. It's just not a great set shot of the football.
Needs to kick this.
But he desperately needs
It's in that dead pocket as well, Hilly.
Needs to kick it for the Hawks to have a chance. Pitternet comes in and, well, he struck it well, but just across the face of goal. Margin back to 35 points. The Hawks peppering early, but not able to take advantage on the scoreboard.
Ignacy Smith will bring it in as he has for much of the day. Plays on toward the outer side and does find the target. It's Caulfield. Right, football down the line. Bolter's his target in battle with Mercedes, who let it go out the back and just spills out of play. So we've got a boundary throw in. Richmond 12-7-79 leading Box Hill 6-8-44. .25 touches now for Derek Igmalesi-Smith today. Siegler in the ruck, just lost his footing. Rough out the don't argue, had to give out the handball. Hawks under siege here. Good tackle on Meadows by Townsend. Nelson, does he keep it alive? Goes down the line. It's going to trickle. Out of play. Mirror happy to see it out. Boundary throw in. About 75 out from goal here. Here's Richmond. Giant currently has the job on Oleg Markov. He's the leading goal kicker on the ground today. Segler claimed it from the ruck. Hand pass off to Meadows. Rush kick toward the wing. It's okay. Mark was taken. The sidestep was good there. Now Cousins. Nanskowen just had it go over his head. Just a bit too hot was the handball there from Jimmy Cousins. Tigers get it back. The switch. Falcon there. Derek Igmalesi-Smith. Turnover. Ross. Shot on goal. Hits the behind post. Out of bounds on the full. A wasted opportunity there. Jackson Ross had an open look. Didn't make the most of it. And the Tigers get it back. It's Ben Miller that has it.
They've had periods of dominance so far today, the Hawks, but just haven't been able to get it going on the scoreboard. And when the Tigers have had the dominance, they have been able to put it on the scoreboard. And that's really been the difference between the two sides this afternoon, as the Tigers work it through the corridor by hand. Nash runs himself into trouble. Okay, though, for Coleman Jones, and he pokes it wide for his skipper, Morris. Wanted 50. Umpire said no. So he's just going to set it up. Coates sets himself. So too does Bolter. Needed to communicate better in the end, but the mark's been paid, I think, to Coates. So good result for Richmond.
They're going to go the skinny side of the ground.
It's been quiet today, Coates, and kicks it into the man on the mark. Cousins there for the ricochet. And he just hacks it out of there, hoping for the best. No mark taken for Box Hill. Still going. The Tigers are going to come back in. Townsend to the top of the square. Bolter one-on-one. Segler does well defensively to drop back and intercept. Finds Giath short. Has a release man on the outside. That's Mercedes. Uses him. Ross, and now Giath kept running. Needed to as well because they didn't have too many options. And then silly by Caulfield to deck Giath after getting rid of it. But it doesn't matter because Box Hill had it going anyway. Now a chance. They run to 45. The shot comes from Maloney. And eventually it's kicked through by Walker. So they made a meal of it almost, but Walker able to finish.
So they strike first here in the last quarter. Give themselves a little hope. Just a little sniff, and you never know.
It's 29 points now, Healy, and we've played 7.5 minutes in this final term, so they need to get a move on.
Yeah, they certainly do, but they're a very proud club, Box Hill. Great club in the VFL, one of the best. And I'm sure they'll just hang in there in this game. I can't see them getting blown out.
As we mentioned earlier, the run home is somewhat kind. They get the bye next week, so they can go out here, especially the VFL listed players, and know they've got a week off next week. North Melbourne, Werribee, Northern Blues, Collingwood in the run home for Box Hill. So a win here would be important, but they have got some winnable games coming up. It's the Tigers ball on centre wing, broadcast side, Silvestro. Butler had plenty of space, goes on to the right, but not a great ball in, and Giant takes the relieving mark for Box Hill. That's an interesting switch. It might just open the door there for Brewer. Bad bounce for Segler. Tigers do get it back, and the snap on goal goes through. Brewer finishes. And that's probably it for Box Hill today. Richmond will win. They'll go to the top of the ladder. 13-785, Box Hill 7-8-50. 9 gone final term. I was just looking at the scoreboard here, and the goal went to the wrong team. It's been corrected now. 35-point lead for the Tigers.
Well, if Box Hill were going to stay in this game, they certainly had to get the very next goal and get it quickly. And unfortunately, off the turnover, the Tigers made him pay there on that occasion.
You've been a fan of Blake Brewer, haven't you? He was once a Brisbane Lion listed player, Hilly.
Yeah, he shows quite a bit, and he made it at the AFL level in terms of making it onto an AFL list, and I think there's still room for him somewhere along the line. And the Tigers obviously have given him opportunity here in the VFL, and I think he's been quite good for them.
They are willing to elevate from the VFL list. We know that through Jake Arts.
Tigers working it forward, but Mercedes able to rush it through for Box Hill. Margin now out to 36 points as Jayev goes short for Segler, and handball perhaps without looking because he put Horner under all sorts of pressure, but able to get boot to ball and work it out of trouble. Roughhead looking for a handball option. Finds Kajitsky, who's been swung forward, and that's a good kick to a good spot. Mark taken by Ross, who plays on and rolls it home.
Might want to be careful here, Richmond, if they allow a couple of junk time goals, and suddenly it won't be junk time anymore.
As I said, I just think they'll hang in there in this game. Can't see them being blown out, so you're absolutely spot on if they just leaked a couple of quick goals. Box Hill get a little bit of a sniff, you never know, but it is an ask. And they certainly have been outplayed today. The Tigers have been the better team by far throughout the day.
Ross has two.
I was going to say, it's his second goal of the game. 3/4 time at Skybar Stadium. Collingwood 6-9-45. In fact, the final term has actually started. Frankston 6-7-43. So that's going to go down to the wire at Skybar Stadium. Umpire throws it up. We're back in the middle. We've had a couple of close games around the VFL today. Game at Prana Park went down to the wire, and heartbreakingly they went down to North Melbourne as Richmond go into attack, and Arts has some space on Mercedes and takes an uncontested 45-degree angle and will kick from just inside 50. Umpire Michael Pell setting the mark. So we spoke about Jake Arts. He had a couple of good years as a VFL listed player for the Tigers, and that was enough to impress the Tigers to get them to draft him onto the AFL list. The kicks off the side of the boot, and Mira's going to take it. Got some body on body. Dare I say it, almost Scott Thompson-like, and had the mark paid.
Controversial as always, Adam Sarakoglu, but
I'm not.
No free kick paid on that occasion. Mercedes out wide, and
haven't mentioned the bouncing once today.
The Hawks can reload from half back. Well, that's once now.
Haven't had to.
Brand has it. Long up the line. Walker there, didn't get hands to it. Pitternet now at ground level doing the work. Finds Glass. His handball indiscriminate really, but lucky he had a teammate running onto it, but he was caught holding the ball. And strong tackle was laid after the fact.
Not getting up, Connor Glass.
Nash thought play had gone on. It hadn't. Nothing untoward, but Connor Glass is a little slow getting up. Play goes on. Nash takes the free kick. And mark taken by Mira at the back. Cousins now for Box Hill. They've done well to close down this switch here, the Tigers. They're still going hard even with the 30-point lead. That ball trickles over the boundary line. 13-8-86, plays 8-8-56. We've just gone over 13 minutes gone in this final term.
That's 12 marks now for Dave Mira. He's not going to get the win today, Healy, but his 150th has been good individually.
Yeah, he certainly has. Him and Jayath have been Box Hill's best by far.
Silvestro, nice tackle, Silva. That might have come from the Richmond runner, who was right next to Glenn Hill. Umpire to throw it up. Sound effects are coming through loud and clear today here at Box Hill. We're getting a lot of good sounds of the game. Meadows has now gone down for Box Hill after he got his kick away. He doesn't want to get up either. Umpire calls for a stoppage, but 10 metres back from that. Luke Meadows very slow to get up on his feet. He's been a mainstay for Box Hill this year. Umpire to throw it up. He's back up on his feet now and involved in the contest, but just limping a little bit. English, nice handball over his shoulder to Silvestro. It was the torpedo kind of ball inside 50, and Giath fisted away toward the boundary line. It does trickle out of play. Boundary throw in. Just on the outskirts of 50 here for the Tigers. 13-8, 86, leading Box Hill by 30 points. 8-8, 56, halfway into the final term.
Ball to be thrown in, 55 around from the Richmond goal. Segler with strength, palms it down. Horner was there, but he's taken down immediately. And we'll get another stoppage. Townsend, the man laying the tackle on that occasion. 30-point game, 15 minutes into this final term. English handball into space. Butler can run onto it. Gets a shepherd from Miller. Toe pokes it to himself. And the centering ball intercepted by a desperate Lockie Walker for Box Hill.
Someone's playing the wrong code today, Daniel Butler. Here's a turnover. Markov, the umpire's not going to pay it. There was a push. So Box Hill will get a free kick. Oleg Markov thought that he forced the turnover on Connor Glass, and there will be a free kick to be taken here for Box Hill by Lockie Walker. He'll go to Brandt. Gets a little nudge for his efforts from Ben Miller. Brandt will go down the line. The fizz out of this one at Box Hill today. That's a nice mark taken by Segler. It's been good today, Segler. Good marking presence for Box Hill. He goes down the line. Garthwaite peels it off though, and it finds the boundary line. He also gained about 20 metres with that spoil. He's been doing that well today, Hilly. Boundary throw in.
Certainly has.
Big thud in the third quarter. Picked up by our effects mics. No winner out of the ruck contest. Butler, might have been another soccer off the ground. This time it was smothered. Eventually it is picked up. The hand pass from Silvestro was good for Brewer. And then Butler got himself into trouble. Greaves won it back for Box Hill. Now Golds. Hand pass to Cousins. Greaves. Golds. 44, 45 and 46 all combining for Box Hill. Rough head. Mark taking Aducci. Open goal coming up for the Hawks. And he slots it. 9-8, 62 Box Hill. Richmond 13-8, 86. And that is at the 17-minute mark of the final term here.
First goal of the afternoon for Aducci. Had a shot in the third term, but fell short. Just his third goal for the season. Margin now back to 24 points.
Sorry, Michael. Around the grounds, Corey Richards just put Frankston in front against Collingwood in a low-scoring game at Skybus Stadium. Frankston 7-8-50, Collingwood 6-10-46. That could be an upset brewing at Skybus.
That game started at the same time as ours. They're a little bit behind us, though. 10 minutes gone in that final term. We'll keep you abreast of those scores as much as we can until we go off air. As Box Hill clear. Silvestro overruns it. Now a chance for Cousins. Another goal here for Box Hill will make things interesting. And Cousins does just that. Margin back to 3 goals. Cousins gets his first.
Huge goal from Box Hill, and that certainly does just keep a little flicker alight here. 2 quick goals. And if you look at the scoreboard now, it's only 3 goals the margin, and there's still plenty of time.
It is 18 points, and we're not into time on, so yeah, it is game on.
Be quick to write them off at the start of the quarter.
Oh, I have been, haven't I?
Adam, and as I said, Box Hill a very proud club. They're always going to hang around. They're not going to go down.
The reigning champs
without a fight.
Still have, that's the right word, Healy, bit of fight in them. We're going to get a secondary ball up here. Pitnet's gone down. He'll get back up. It's a little heavy, that part of the grounds here at Box Hill City Oval. This will just set around the grounds. A 4-point lead for the Dolphins over the Magpies. Wouldn't be expecting either to play finals this year. Moore's tackle might have been high. English. Silvestro juggling it in the air. Had to escape Miles and did claim him a bit high. Free kick.
Did drop to his knees there, so it's always one where it was the contact made high because he had dropped low.
It's not for the first time today. Richmond need a steadier. Townsend has it. The man on the mark is Golds, and he's well outside 50, but Townsend, at least for the time being, showing as though he was lining up. He goes for Markov. No mark taken. Just pop back into his lap. Oleg Markov, the snap toward the top of the square. Another intercept mark for Dave Mirror.
He's feeling confident, Markov. Didn't even look for options inboard. Swung it around for goal, but that one didn't have the distance. And now the Hawks can go. Roughhead calling for it in the middle. Hasn't been spotted, though, and missed opportunity perhaps for the Hawks, although they are still going to go corridor. Glass has it. Now Moore, and a man out wide is Jayath on our broadcast side. Spots an option he likes at half forward. It's Golds, but doing well to come across is Menadue and affect the spoil.
Tired Jayath is coming off. Placed by Mercedes.
He's had a good game today, Jayath. Has some shaky moments with ball in hand, but aerially, he's been peerless this afternoon. As the ball is tossed back in, both ruckmen too busy grappling to focus on the ball, which fell short. That allows Glass to flash through the back and send it inside forward 50. Free kick for an arm chop, Box Hill's way.
Ooh.
It'll be Walker's ball, and he can go back for goal number 5.
Kicks this. We have got a grandstand finish.
We're into time on final term, approaching 21 minutes gone. So he needs to be wary of how long he's taking, but he doesn't need to rush, Matt Walker. From about 40 metres out, as good as directly in front, Walker makes it a 2-goal game.
They're still in it. They are still in it. They will not go away, the Hawks. The Tigers have just let their guard down a little bit in this quarter, and obviously a couple of players on restricted minutes may have just stemmed the rotations a little bit here.
It's costing him a rotation, isn't it, Hilly?
Just costing him some rotation on the boundary line. Josh Caddy just getting worked on as well on the boundary line at the moment, so he
could argue that
he might be rested, I'd say.
You could argue the best player on the ground in terms of, I suppose, VFL output. Jacob Townsend, he's on the bench getting some work done as we speak. 4 in a row for Box Hill, and they might not be done. Big finish coming up at Box Hill City Oval here today. It's been a good day of VFL footy. 2 close games to round out round 16 around the grounds. A couple of earlier games today that went down to the wire as well. Ball on ground level. Nanskowen gets his hand pass out. Miles sends Box Hill towards half forward. Bouncing ball. Tigers get it back though. Ball cleared away from Streets, and English bounces away from him. Just spun into the tackle there. Did Cousins. Oleg Markov held him up. Segler gets another tackle, and that results in a stoppage in front of us. Box Hill get another goal or two here. Richmond's current grip on the live ladder on top spot will suddenly be in jeopardy. Another ball up as Segler gets put into the turf. A double tackle with Coleman Jones and Brewer combining.
23 minutes gone, so still time enough, you'd suggest, for the Hawks to string together 3 scores. Collier Dawkins to send Richmond inside forward 50. Brand one-on-one. Does well against Miller. Gets it to ground, but he needed more support. Silvestro through the traffic. The shot, it's bouncing, it's wide. And Mercedes happy to see it over for a minor score. Could be an important point, though. It's out to 13 points. As he quickly takes the kick in and
great kick
up the corridor, the mark taken by Miles.
Taya Miles had his fellow 42 on the mark, decided to run away. Golds comes unstuck. Dan Butler with the tackle. Great tackle, Dan Butler. Hasn't had a huge day in terms of numbers, but keeps bobbing up at the important moments. He goes short to his right, and the mark taken by Garthwaite. He tells his teammates to slow the tempo down. Aducci's on the mark, right on 50. Garthwaite with that awkward kicking action. Inside 50, 2-on-2, no mark taken. There's a Tiger out the back. Great tackle though. Merritt gets involved as well. Ball up in the pocket. Jay Carts thought he had an opening at the back of the marking contest, but got brought down. Tigers could seal it with a goal with this entry. Good tackle here from Glass. Umpire will cross his arms. We're directly in front. 25 out from Richmond's goal. Led by as much as 37 points in this game right now. It's a much more tenuous 13-point advantage they have. They want to lock it in here. Don't necessarily need to score another goal. Time off the clock could be just as valuable right now. Box Hill need to score at least 3 more times to win it. As Meadows clears away, straight bouncing ball. Does pick it up, has to get around pit net. Nice handball to release Caulfield. Tigers into attack. Coleman Jones just goes over his head. No mark taken, the quick snap. Does Brand get back? Didn't matter anyway because it fell the wrong side of the goal post, and it's a minor score. 14-point lead for the Tigers. Brand to bring it in for Box Hill.
25 and a half gone. They need to go quickly, do the Hawks, and they need to go direct. Segler taps it on cleverly, but he didn't have any support. Egmalesi Smith to Menadue. They're running in numbers, the Tigers. The Box Hill cavalry comes. Nage can tap it out the back. Instead decides to take on Greaves. It's desperate stuff here at the moment. Box Hill defending desperately, but the Tigers have the answers at the moment as Nanskawin is gang tackled over the boundary line. (13-10) 88 plays 11-8 74.
Remember, it was a very short third quarter, only 27 minutes.
14-point game at Box Hill City Oval. Segler takes clean possession. Handball untidy, but ended up with Miles, which was the desired result. His kick is a quick one towards the middle of the ground, but the Tigers have the numbers. Bolter and now Naish. Has Bolter on short if he wants. That's eventually manned up, so has no option but to go long. Segler's there, so too Coleman Jones. Couldn't quite bring it in. Not the first time he's gone for a fly on Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL Live and failed to bring it in as Miller wrapped up by Brand. And we get a stoppage just outside forward 50 for the Tigers.
He's got some cramp as well. He needed help getting up. Riley Collier-Dawkins came across.
He can certainly get up, Callum Coleman Jones, but not able to take the mark on that occasion. Roughhead's handball is wide, and that's a push in the back for Morris.
Not paid.
No. Looks pretty clear from here.
Has it been?
It has, in fact. No, the
umpire saying throw it in.
Morris insisted it was his free, but I don't think he looked at what the umpire had actually called. So, valuable seconds coming off the clock, though, for Richmond. They lead it by 14 points. We're now 27 and a half into the final term. And repeat stoppages, exactly what the Tigers want right now. 88 plays 74 as the Tigers clear once again. Greaves one-on-one. Will this mark be paid? It doesn't matter. Menadue at ground level. His kick smothered. Butler with pace. Can finish off the Hawks with one foul swoop. Instead, gives it off to Markov. And Coleman Jones ends it. There's your ball game. Tigers lead it by 20 points.
We'll need a new footy because that one is gone.
That one's on Davey Street somewhere around the grounds. 1 point lead for Collingwood after Tyler Brown kicks a goal. We're into time on final term at Skybus Stadium. 7-11-53. Collingwood leading Frankston by a single point. 7-10-52. That one's still up for grabs. This one looks as though it's over. Richmond is your benchmark tonight. Essendon had the bye this week. That allows Richmond to get the 4 points ahead. Be a nice little percentage booster as well for the Tigers. Could well be percentage if I spit that out. That does decide who gets the minor premiership this year. There will be a final round home and away game between Essendon and Richmond right here on VFL Live to end the season. That could decide who finishes on top of the ladder. Mercedes has it for Box Hill here. Gets the switch. Redhead to redhead. Glass, Segler. And he'll go short. So this is junk time footy now. Kazitsky has it for Box Hill. Sends the Hawks deep into attack. Ross just lurking at the front of the contest. That's a good mark taken though by Mark Pitternet, who is hurrying up, and so there is still time for Box Hill, but we're 29.5 minutes into the final term and the margin is 20 points. For his first of the day, Pitternet. Right foot ball, kicks Trilly. 12-8-80, Box Hill, Richmond 14-10-94. We are 2 seconds away from the 30-minute mark of the final term.
Margin might just be beyond Box Hill here. They've been gallant in this final term. 6 goals to 2 in their favour, but a 37-point three-quarter time margin proving insurmountable. As we approach 30 minutes and 30 seconds gone in this final term. Segler and Coates go at it. Segler first hands to it. Moore spun after he got rid of it. No, holding the ball in fact. Didn't get a clean handball away. So Brewer's ball. Has Naish calling for it wide. Instead decides to go inside forward 50. Coleman Jones there. And the siren sounds. Richmond will be on top of the VFL ladder after round 16. A thrilling 14-point victory over the Hawks. Box Hill didn't let them have it all their own way, but Richmond eventually prevail 14-10-94 to 12-8-80.
Glenn Hill's making his way out. Didn't actually discuss today, Michael, who his potential options would be. Hilly might be able to tell us, actually. Who are you going for, Hilly?
Look, I think Patrick Naish had a great game. Markov as well, but we'll go Naish today.
31 touches and a goal for Naish.
Let's see if Hilly's successful. He usually is. He's one of the better operators boundary side in the VFL. Step aside, Phil Cleary. It's all about Glenn Hill. He's going after number 45 for the Tigers. They're on top of the ladder in the hard jacket. Totally workwear VFL. Still one game to be decided. That's between Frankston and Collingwood. So we're going to be on air for another 20 or so minutes. So it's enough time for us to have a look at the ladder at the end of round 16. Go through all of the results from a busy day of VFL footy today. We'll even, if there's time, have a look at what's coming up next week in round 17. Our game on hard jacket, Totally Workwear VFL Live, will be between North Melbourne and the Northern Blues. Hilly, go ahead.
Thanks, Adam. Joined by Patrick Naish.
We're losing you, Hilly.
Yeah, it was good. They gave us a pretty good run. But yeah, we just played our structures and yeah, got the.
Must have been nice in some service from Nan Curvis in the first half.
Bloody hell. I think he only played a half, but yeah, he was unreal for the first half, and each went in there. We're good.
You guys, as you said, stuck structures really well. Play in that first half.
Yeah, we wanted to get it in one way. Yeah.
I think we've lost you there, Hilly. Not getting.
It's.
We might need to cut that one short, unfortunately, Hilly. You're just out of range at the moment. If you can come back in.
And with AFL team, obviously, Alan pushing it to the top 4, you got a lot to strive for in the VFL.
How they went about it the other day was unreal. So we just want to come out and do the exact same thing as them. Yeah, and I think we did that today, and hopefully they were watching, and yeah, we're pretty happy with
in today. Well, you well.
Looks like Healy's just winding it up there. Unfortunately, we didn't get a lot of that interview there with Paddy Naish. Unfortunately, although Healy is coming closer towards us now, the Richmond players are congregating on the half-forward flank. So there might be time. There is plenty of time left in our broadcast today. If Healy does want to get one more for us closer to our range, it's going down to the wire at Skybus Stadium. Collingwood 7-13-55, holding on to a 2-point lead over Frankston 7-11-53. Before we're off air today, for our viewing audience on VFL.com.au, I do believe we've actually got the footage of the Mitch Cox mark.
We have
Michael.
a treat for our viewers.
So we're gonna get a look at that. We won't go to that just yet, just in case Healy does track down one more interview for us as the Tigers make their way off the ground. We'll have full-time scores from around the grounds today. We'll take a look at the ladder as it stands at the end of round 16 in the VFL. We'll take a look at what's coming up in round 17 as well, as the Tigers now do make their way off the ground. I don't think we are going to get another interview from Healy, unless you can spot something I can't, Michael.
No, it doesn't look that way. They're just waiting for their skipper to lead them off the ground.
So Dave Mirra getting clapped off as well for Box Hill. Game 150. He's a star of the VFL, the reigning Norm Goss medalist, and has had his chance at AFL level with Hawthorn as well. He's clapped off the ground. Not the result he would have been looking for, as the Tigers clapped off the ground as well. They're the team to beat, it would seem, in the VFL alongside Essendon. Maybe Footscray's in the hunt as well. The Dogs are going very well. The top four as we speak is Richmond, Essendon, Footscray and Williamstown in that order. 2 wins separating all of those teams. Now, we have been promised Mitch Cox has taken an outstanding mark against Collingwood at Skybus Stadium, and if you're sorry for the SEN2 audience, if you obviously can't see this, but if you're watching us on VFL.com.au, this was the mark that Mitch Cox took earlier today against the Magpies. It's been built up a fair bit. Not sure if we're actually going to...
Here it is.
It's coming now, so ball's come inside 50. That's a good flight. That's a very good fly, and it was in point-blank range, so that's...
We might get another look at that if we can.
There you
Jeez, got a long way up.
Fair bit of airtime there. One of the better marks we've seen this year in the VFL. Maybe not as good as Jared Roughhead's here a couple of weeks ago, but still a very good effort. Healy's back with us in the box as well, and Richmond just gave us a clinic of VFL footy today against the reigning premiers.
Yeah, they certainly did. They certainly stamped themselves, I think, as the team to beat this season. They've done it from start to finish. They've done it with injuries. They've done it with the depth of their VFL squad, and every time I see the Tigers, I'm impressed. And I think they're really well coached by Craig McRae and his team, and they seem to have a really good grasp on what they need to do as a football team in this competition.
So the final score here today, Richmond by 14 points, 14-10, 94 over Box Hill, 12-8. 80. We'll take a quick break here, and then we'll go around the grounds and finalise all of the round 16 results and take a look at the ladder, then preview round 17. We'll take a final break here on Hard Jacket, Totally Workwear, VFL Live, and then wrap up the round that was in the VFL.
Nature's an amazing place. It's a perfect balancing act, thriving with life. Some of which we don't even see. Like the billions of microorganisms that help keep nature in balance. At Swiss, the quest continues.
At Totally Workwear, we kit out the brickies, the chippies, the foremen, the tradies. Did we say foremen? They're not all men, some are ladies. Yes! Work in an office, retail, healthcare, hospitality? Here's where you'll find all your workwear. Yeah, totally. Totally Workwear have got you covered with the best brands, best value and best service. Totally Workwear. Get what you want and get back to work.
For club interviews and all the news from the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL and Swiss Wellness VFL Women's, don't miss the VFL Hour during the Sporting Capital with Jack Heverin, Tuesdays from 9 p.m. on 1116 SEN.
But it's your job. We'll be fine.
Mate, just because everybody seems like they're doing it doesn't actually mean that they are doing it.
Help your kids understand that betting and sport don't have to go together.
The ads don't always tell you the risks, yeah?
Before you have the talk, check lovethegame.vic.gov.au. Authorised by VRGF Melbourne.
Don't miss a moment of the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Find SEN2 on your digital radio today for live coverage of the match of the round. The Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL, live on SEN2 DAB+.
I'm a digital radio. To help explain why it's time to update your old radio, with me is my friend Digital TV.
Hi.
Where you go?
Remember when us TVs went digital?
Everyone does. Get to the point.
Suddenly, you got lots more channels for free.
Yes.
Well, it's the same with digital radio.
When you buy a digital radio, you can get all your favourite stations, plus up to 30 extra ones, playing all kinds of music, live sport and talk.
That's pretty great.
It's really great.
All you have to do is head into your nearest retailer.
Or check out digitalradioplus.com.au.
And upgrade to digital.
Your Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL Club needs you to show your support. Buying a VFL Club membership helps support your local team and provides great discounts and match access. The VFL gives you the chance to get in the coach's huddle and enjoy kick-to-kick on the field, whilst kids under 15 get in free. Get involved in the VFL this season. Head to vfl.com.au/membership to find out what membership offers are available at your club in 2019.
Love your sport? Then you'll love SEN.
Stuart Appleby has come from 7 strokes
And you'll
behind
find it on digital radio. Simply scroll to SEN, Melbourne's home of sport.
Streaming live through VFL.com.au. This is VFL Live.
Richmond is on top of the ladder in the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL after doing the job against Box Hill today, 14-10-94. Box Hill 12-8. 80. If you're listening to us on SEN at 2, we'll be with you for the next 10 minutes when we'll take a look at around the grounds. But if you are watching the visual stream on vfl.com.au, that is us done for today. Thank you for watching. If you want to catch the rest of our post-game show, then switch over to SEN at 2 and have a listen. Next week, you can watch North Melbourne and the Northern Blues from Arden Street on vfl.com.au.